Coming up next, 8 rounds in the junior welterweight division between Daniel Gonzalez and Carlos Aguilera here on StarBoxing.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'm going to ask everyone to please rise as Despina Drugas sings her version of America the Beautiful.
Oh,
yeah, we got to stand up.
For spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties, above the fruited plain, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood. From sea to shining sea.
Despina Drugas.
Welcome back to Joe DeGuardia StarBoxing Rockin' Fights 23. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape. Cletus Selden, take us through it.
We got Michael Scout versus Lorenzo. It's a 4-round bout. It's going to be a fantastic fight. A lot of speed. You got a debut fighter versus a guy that's 1-0. There's a guy who's going to work on his speed, and you got a guy who's going to run a lot. So it's going to be a really fantastic fight.
Let's get it up to ring announcer David Diamante and get this thing started.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Paramount here in Huntington, New York for Rockin' Fights 23. It's all being brought to you courtesy of Joe DeGuardia's StarBoxing. Sponsored by Modell Sporting Goods. Gotta go to Moe's. Camelot Limousine. The Inn at Fox Hollow. WBAB 102.3. Power Play. And Picard Chiropractic, where they fight for your health. This bout is sanctioned by the New York State Athletic Commission, Chairman Tom Hoover, Commissioner John Signorelli, Director of Boxing Eric Bentley. Introducing your 3 judges scoring this contest from ringside, John McKay, Kevin Morgan, and Carlos Ortiz Jr. At the sound of the bell, your 3rd man in the ring, Pat Sullivan. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 4 rounds of boxing scheduled in the junior featherweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, he wears the green trunks with the red, white, and blue trim. He weighed in at an even 122 pounds. Tonight, he makes his professional debut from Brick City, Newark, New Jersey. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jonel Lorenzo. And his opponent across the ring fighting out of the red corner. He wears the black trunks with the silver trim. He weighed in at 121.8 pounds. His professional record, 1 victory, no defeats. From Coram, New York, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Michael Stout.
All right, fighters, you've received your instructions in the dressing room, okay? I said 3 things that are very important. Respect the sport, respect the rules, and most of all, show respect to each other. Touch gloves, come out of belt fighting. Yes, okay? That's good, okay? That's fine, all right?
Here we go, opening bell, 4-rounder, junior featherweight division between Michael Stout and Jonel Lorenzo. Stout in the dark trunks with the light waistband, and Lorenzo in the gold and white and red, sparkly. It's like an Apollo Creed kind of trunks.
That is one fantastic outfit. As you can come out, you can see Mike Stout's a lefty. He's trying to land that straight left. He's more of a point scoring kind of fighter. I boxed with him in the amateurs and came from the same amateur gym as him. So you're going to see him do a lot of pop shopping all night. There you go, right there.
That's going to be called a slip by referee Pat Sullivan. And let me just go over the rules of the New York State Athletic Commission. 10-point must system is in effect. No standing 8 count is employed tonight. In case of an accidental butt, 4 rounds must be in the books. The referee or the doctor can stop the fight, and there is no saving by the bell, including the final round. Randy G., the commish, along with Cletus Selden and Cara Castronova.
You can see Mike Stout pop shotting the whole time. Lorenzo's going to need to back him up to do any damage. Because if Michael Stout's coming forward, he's going to have a tough time all night. There he goes right there, Lorenzo, coming in with a nice combination.
Something tells me this could very well be the battle of the jab. Stout's right jab against Lorenzo's pesky left jab.
Absolutely, definitely has a Pepsi little jab there. And Stout comes in with a full jab. You can tell the difference right off the bat. Lorenzo mixing up his punches. He's going to the body and the head. Definitely giving him a nice variety.
Referee Pat Sullivan, one of your real good referees in the state of New York, likes to let the fighters work on the inside, but should they start holding on, he will be in there to break them. But he does let them work on the inside. Interesting round. They're not really feeling each other out, but they are testing each other's speed.
Absolutely, and Lorenzo is going to the body of Mike Stout. You can see that throughout the whole fight so far. He's going to his body. He knows he wants to slow him down. And Lorenzo got a little swelling on his left side of his face. Nothing big, but a little thing to keep worried. Mike Stout has a good right hook.
Final 10 seconds. Round number 1. This one is scheduled for 4. Here in New York, you're going to hear that rap on the ring with 5 seconds remaining. And there it is. Round 1 is in the books. Well, that was an interesting round, and I'm wondering if the judges had that very, very close. Take a look at Lorenzo.
Lorenzo's coming in with a nice good counter. Mike Stout's coming with a nice counter. He hit him on the side with an open fist, which gave it a nice slap, which is a slip, not a knockdown, which is the right call. Lorenzo coming with a counter shot and going to the body. You're going to see him continue doing that throughout the fight, and that's going to be his game plan. In the red corner, you have Leon Green as his trainer. Leon Green was one of the first amateurs ever signed by Golden Boy. Ever. His first one ever was signed by the Golden Boy. So he has a great trainer in his corner.
And you're looking into the corner there of Michael Stout. This is round number 2. So if you're scoring this one at home, that was a close round. I have a feeling that one could have gone either way. And I'll take this opportunity. Cara Castronova, how did you have that first round scored? Was it Stout or was it Lorenzo?
I thought it was a pretty close round. It was a hard round to score. Both guys are very, they're technical. They're both getting their punches in, and it's a hard round to score, so I'm not going to even try to attempt to.
I was going to cop out.
With a 4-round fight, the biggest thing you want to do is actually win that first round. You usually want to go out there and win it, because if you win that first one, then the other guy has to win the next 3.
Absolutely.
So they left it up to be up in there in the air, to be even a draw. So hopefully one of them, the guys, gets a victory tonight.
Got to play catch up if you lose that first round, especially, you're right, in a 4-round fight.
When I first started, Bob, that was the first thing my coach taught me to do. Go out there first round, win that first round. I was a slow starter, and I still still had to do it even though I didn't want to.
The voice of Cletus Selden, now one of the highest-rated junior welterweights in the world. And what weight did you start boxing at?
I started at 150. Actually 152, and I worked my way down to 140. It usually goes the other way, but since I started boxing at 22, it was totally different. I was already a full-grown man, knew what I had to do, and focused everything I had to. You can see right now, Mike Stout is coming in with great counters, but
yes.
Lorenzo is putting the pressure on him.
Do you think that's a smart thing that Lorenzo's doing, putting the pressure on, or should he be laying on the outside? Because he's got some nice speed, he's got those long arms. Is he doing the wrong thing by putting the pressure on and walking into Stout?
I don't believe so. I think his best ability tonight is to go forwards. As you can see right now, he's trying to stay on the outside and try to box. It's not working for him. He has to go forwards and push him back and continue throwing combinations. Even though he's getting hit once or twice every time, at least he's able to throw punches and make Mike Stout a little anxious every time he comes in.
A swing and a miss with the right hook by Stout. The two of them fall into a clinch, and there, Pat Sullivan very smartly breaks them up.
You can see their 2 feet are so close together that they're going to literally be stepping on each other and holding each other. And even for a 4-round fight, you can see that it's not because they're tired, it's because they just keep colliding.
And it's funny, just as you said that, they're going to be stepping on each other's feet, it turned out that Lorenzo stepped forward and stepped right on the top of Stout's right foot, and he just did it again.
Right. A lot of that has to do with the fact that there's a southpaw in there, so, you know, they're going to definitely be stepping on each other's feet. I think that Lorenzo, he's taking advantage more so of, you know, he has his foot, as you can see, on the outside of Stout's foot, so he definitely is fighting the way that he should be when it comes to fighting a southpaw. He should be throwing more lead right hands, I think, down the middle. I think that would really land for him.
Yes, absolutely.
End of round number 2. We'll be back with more of Joe DeGuardia's Star Boxing after this. Gotcha. Welcome back to the Paramount in Huntington, Long Island, New York. This is round number 3 of a junior featherweight bout between Michael Stout and Jonel Lorenzo. Stout with the black trunks and the light waistband. Competitive fight up to this point.
You can see Lorenzo little has the momentum. After the last round was over, he was doing a little dance in his corner, seeing that he had the momentum going in his favor. But I still think that the fight's one apiece. What I would like both of them to do is move a little bit more from left to right instead of just attacking each other straight on. Use their legs a lot more, especially these guys. They got little legs that they can move all day. They can probably run around a 6-minute mile every day. They should be moving the entire time. I don't know why they're not moving in there. They're trying to bang away.
Okay, let's take a look at Stout, who happens to be the southpaw in the dark trunks. Where should his lead foot be, the right foot? Should it be in front of Lorenzo, or should it be on the outside to the left of his left foot?
It should be on the outside because he's trying to land not just the left straight, but he wants to hit in that right hook. He's been countering Lorenzo with it all night, and that's his punch right now that he's been going to. And early in the fight, you can see there was a slip off it, but that's his punch that he's been countering with. And you can see it by the way his right elbow's coming out every time he comes in. He wants to counter him with it. There it was right there again. He's trying to hit him with that counter. Lorenzo comes in with his left arm just a little bit low when he brings it back, just right there. You can see when he comes in, boom, he's sitting there waiting for you. He's trying to hit him with that check left hook.
Why is it that so many right-handers, like Lorenzo is, say that they hate fighting southpaws? Why don't southpaws say they hate fighting right-handers? Why is it the other way around?
When I go to the gym every day, I literally box 90% of the time with a righty. So that one time when they give me a lefty, I hate it, and it's such annoying. I know Kara has been through this as well, so
Yeah, I mean, I fought a lot of southpaws, and they are very annoying to fight. I think that the southpaw definitely has the advantage because they're fighting righties all the time. You know, they're always fighting righties, and a righty's not really fighting a southpaw that often. So they have a big advantage. But in this case, I don't think Stout is really using that advantage because of the way he's fighting. He's not using the foot on the outside of, you know, of Lorenzo's foot. So he should do that a little more. I think it would work for him.
Yes, absolutely. He definitely should move his feet a lot more. And you see they're just trying to pop shot him. He's right out of the amateurs. I think the two of them are definitely Stout came back and won the Golden Gloves in a national tournament not too long ago. So
I was going to ask you if you knew anything about the amateur career.
Yeah, he won the Golden Gloves. I know one time definitely, might even won it the second time, and he won a national tournament in his amateur career.
Both guys have had over 30 amateur fights as we come to the end of round number 3 in a bout that's really starting to pick up in action. Well, if you are scoring this one is, I think, going to come down very possibly to the 4th and final round. And we're going to take a look at some of that action from that last round. Kara?
All right, right there we see Stout. He's landing that jab and nice straight. That's a straight right hand, right, from Lorenzo. So like I said before, he's using his advantage. He's actually fighting the southpaw the way the southpaw should be fighting him. He's throwing the lead backhand, the lead power hand, as you can see right there.
There we're taking a look at young Michael Stout out of Coram, New York, and his opponent is Jonel Lorenzo out of Newark, New Jersey, tonight making his professional debut. This is the 4th and final round. And you saw referee Pat Sullivan look up for a second at the score clock just to make sure this was the 4th and final round, and yes it is. And Jonel comes right out, fires a right hand, eats a couple of shots. I have a feeling he thinks he may be down and is going to put the pressure on. Cletus, do you feel that he's down in the fight, even if it's close?
It's definitely close, but it's going to be the one that wants it the most in this round. You can see Mike Stout coming back with the counters, but if Lorenzo really wants it, he's going to start throwing his punches in combinations like he's doing now, instead of coming out with just one punch every time. But he is throwing a straight right hand, what he's supposed to do.
This is definitely the type of fight that I like to see, like a competitive fight. It's pretty even. Both guys they're both good, you know. It's like, it's a fun fight to watch for me because I get to, you know, you don't know who's going to win until the very end, which is like the 4th round right now.
Yes, absolutely. This is a definitely competitive fight. The referees definitely let him fight a little bit on the inside, which is nice as well.
I want to yell up, Pat, let him work on the inside, because he always does. And they just freed up. They were holding on. They are working on the inside. Now you see what I was telling you about Pat Sullivan. He will let them work on the inside.
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job. And you can see Mike Stout trying to hold him a little bit, but he's not letting him. Lorenzo's not letting him, so he's making him work. And Pat understands that, and he sees it himself.
Just when Jonel was starting to fall behind a little bit, he turned it on and just kept the pressure on Stout. What a finish we're having here in the final 90 seconds of the final round.
You can tell Lorenzo's throwing his weight a little bit more forwards on him, and you can see Mike Stout definitely feeling it right now. This is the last minute and 20 seconds left. They're going to really, who really wants it's going to have to come out and bring it right now.
This really could be a telling minute, because whoever wins this round, if they've won one other round, they've got themselves a draw, and if they should have won 2 other rounds, they've got themselves a win here. So this fight, I think, is still up for grabs.
Absolutely, absolutely. I just wish Mike Stout wouldn't come in and try to hold and just kept punching the whole time, just like that. Instead of trying to hold, just keep punching. He can rest tomorrow, and he can fight the rest of these next 43 seconds. There he goes. Come forwards, and he can win the fight. Lorenzo's doing his same exact thing. He needs to throw more punches, more punches. Definitely great to see these young guys go out there and throw everything they have at it for us.
And Pat Sullivan gets between them with about 20 seconds remaining in the fight. And they're still going at it. Jonel comes in, they wrap themselves up with about 10 seconds remaining. You're going to hear the wrap on the ring. 5 seconds remaining, final seconds of the bout. Put this one in the books.
Great finish, great finish.
That was a great round. I mean, it was different than the other 3 rounds. They both went out there with more intensity, knowing that that was an important round. It would probably would decide the fight that last round.
This is definitely going to be a tough round, tough fight to even call. It might be a draw. I have it a draw right now.
Let's see how the judges have it. We're going to have the official decision when we come back. It's either 40-36 or 39-30. I'm going to guess probably 49-37.
When it comes down to it, it's always about the judging. The judging always like a few different things. Some judges want to see the boxer, some guys want to see the aggressive fighter. Me, myself, I'm either the aggressive fighter. So.
Of course you are, Cletus. Cletus is an aggressive fighter.
Okay, when we come back, we'll actually mention it.
Even when I come into the ring, I can't even stand still. I usually pace back and forth. Everyone thinks I'm going to hit someone. It's nice.
Yeah, it's adrenaline.
Apparently, this fight fell out. Get up there, Cal. Welcome back to Joe DeGuardia's Rockin' Fights 23. We just witnessed a 4-round bout between Michael Stout and Jonel Lorenzo in the junior featherweight division. We're going to go to the scorecards. Let's go to ring announcer David Diamante.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 4 rounds of action here at the Paramount, we go to the judges' scorecards. Carlos Ortiz Jr. scores this bout 38-38 even. John McKay and Kevin Morgan both scored this bout 39-37, both for your winner by majority decision. From Coram, New York, Michael Stout.
Ah, that was a heartbreaker for Jonel Lorenzo. 38-38, and the other 2 judges had a 39-37. So, Cara Castronova stands by with our winner.
Thanks, guys. That was a very close fight. It was competitive. It was exciting. Did you think it was going to be that close?
You know, being that it's his first fight, I knew he was going to try to prepare as possible, as best as he could. So I knew I was going to fight a guy who's hungry because, you know, everybody wants to win their first pro fight. It was the same way I felt when I trained for my first fight. So I knew he was going to be in shape.
What was your assessment of your performance out there?
You know what? I was glad with my performance. You know, I stayed sharp. I wanted to dominate, you know, showcase my skills. There's a couple things that I feel I need to work on, so I'm going to go back to the gym, analyze it with my coaches, and try to get better.
Well, congratulations. That was a great fight, and I'm looking forward to seeing your next fight.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cara, and congratulations, Michael Stout. Ups his record to 2-0 with a real close decision against debuting Jonel Lorenzo.
You can see the counter punching by Stout really put the defining touches on this fight. I wish that what I want Mike Stout to go out to do and throw a little bit more combinations. If he can do that, he can become a really good fighter on Long Island.
We'll be back with more StarBoxing.
Gotcha. Gonzalez is next.
Daniel Gonzalez. Now, I think Bostic, I don't know if they pulled him off the card.
That got pulled. That was pulled. Bostick's opponent showed up at 155, 15 pounds overweight.
Yeah, they pulled him out. So I don't know who they're bringing in.
Are they going to Mike Stout or Daniel Gonzalez?
Stout was fun. I'm guessing it's, you know what? Could it be Patrick Day?
Is that a good bout overall? Are you back there?
Tara's back. Tara's back.
Let her get off her phone and put her headset on.
She's on headset.
Tara, do not talk. Just say yes if you can hear me.
Yes.
Very good questions. Try to keep your eyes away from looking down.
It's hard to be.
Sure. Which one's coming out next?
I'm going to go with Daniel Gonzalez, the 8-round fight. I wouldn't gamble on it, though.
Okay. Yeah. Welcome back to the Paramount in Huntington, Long Island, New York for Rockin' Fights 23. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape. Cletus, take it away.
You got Pat Day versus Courtney Pendleton, 18-3-1, and Pat Day 11-2-1. You can see an age difference right here, and the 2 inches on Pat Day will be playing a part in this fight from the guy that's going to come forwards with a height and the guy that's going to come forwards with punching.
Let's get up to David Diamante and ring that bell.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Paramount here in Huntington, New York, we are set to go with our next bout of the evening, and it's all being brought to you courtesy of Joe DeGuardia's StarBoxing. Your 3 judges scoring this contest from ringside: Larry Hazard Jr., Kevin Morgan, and Carlos Ortiz Jr. At the sound of the bell, your 3rd person in the ring, Sparkle Lee. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 6 rounds of boxing scheduled in the middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, he wears white trunks with red trim. He weighed in at 154.2 pounds. His professional record, 11 victories against 2 defeats. He has 1 draw and 6 wins coming by way of knockout. From Freeport, New York, ladies and gentlemen, Patrick Day. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner. He wears red trunks with white trim. He also weighed in at a ready 154.2 pounds. His professional record, 8 victories, 2 defeats. He has 1 draw and 4 wins coming by way of knockout. From the beautiful borough of Brooklyn, New York, ladies and gentlemen, Courtney Kingpin Pennington. Pennington.
You're ready to receive your instructions. Obey my commands. Protect yourself all times. Good luck, guys. And touch gloves.
And it's a 6-round junior middleweight bout between Patrick Day in the white trunks with the red stripes and Courtney Pennington the other way around, red trunks with the white stripes. And this one especially for Patrick Day, who had a pretty rough 2015. This is a very important fight.
Absolutely, for both of these guys, it's going to be a turning point in their career kind of fight. One guy has 3 losses, one guy has 2 losses. This is the fight that's going to push him into the next place where they want to be, into 8-round fights.
And the referee in there is a young lady I gave her license to some years ago when I was commissioner. She's a former New York police officer, now retired, and she is one heck of a referee. Ms. Sparkle Lee always does a nice job in there, always in command. But another one who really lets the fighters work on the inside.
Absolutely, she's ref many fights of mine, and she lets you work, and that's the beauty part of those professional referees that know how to let you do that. The beginning of part of this round, you can see Pat Day's coming forwards, and he's putting a lot of pressure on Pennington, which he's kind of is kind of keeping him off guard right now. So he's kind of moving around. He doesn't really know what to do right now.
Patrick Day, I'm told by Joe Higgins, his manager trainer, boxes out of the Freeport Boxing Gym, and I think you've worked with a whole bunch of those guys. They tell me that Patrick Day has never looked sharper or in better condition than he is tonight.
He's absolutely a gym rat. This guy's in the gym every day. He's in the strength and conditioning. I keep up with him. I've sparred with him. I've been to his gym. When I was an amateur, he used to weigh 140 pounds. He's a big boy nowadays at 155. He's definitely a full man. And you can see him on the inside now. He really wants to show who's bossing this fight and pushing him back. Even though he's coming forwards, he's actually always been a better boxer than a pressure fighter. I always believe that. If he was letting Pennington come forwards, he would counter-punch him and step around him. He has beautiful leg movement. He's a fantastic boxer. So it's different to see him to come out here and try to punch some holes in Pennington right now.
Well, I said earlier that it was a rough year in 2015 for Patrick Day. He had 4 fights. He won 2 of them, lost 2 of them, and in his very last fight, he was stopped in the first round by Carlos Garcia.
Yes, I remember hearing about that fight, and Patrick Day, one of the few fighters ever to actually look out for himself. He saw that his eye was hurt, knew he couldn't see. He said, "You know what? It's not worth it for me to keep continuing," and just stop the fight right there. Very smart move by him. Not too many boxers in this entire world that would ever make that decision.
Final seconds of the opening round. Patrick Day
You can
against
see
Courtney Pennington.
Pennington keeps moving southpaw righty,
Yeah.
very, very unawkward. He doesn't really know what to do right now.
Final seconds. And there's the bell, opening round. So take your pens and pencils, put it down for your scorecard. Who did you have that one scored? And Carol, let's take a look at some of the action from round number 1.
You see the guys, they're both like really in there. Nice.
You have nice combinations coming from Pat Day, coming forward. And Courtney Pennington's really trying to be the first guy that makes the move. But he's just not able to throw enough punches consistently to get there.
Looking into the corner of Courtney Pennington there. Looks calm, cool, collected.
Yes, he's definitely looking like he's focused. He's ready to listen. Maybe take a different stand at this round. Maybe coming forward. We'll see what he does. I really don't like him switching lefty to righty. He's not doing it too pretty.
Have you ever seen him do that before?
Absolutely not. I usually see him, he's coming forwards, and it's kind of different to see him going back.
So do you think he's doing that, Cletus, because he's a little bit confused at this point from the speed and the power jab of Patrick Day?
Absolutely. Patrick has one of the best jabs in Long Island boxing right now. You can see how long and hard he throws it. He's throwing each punch very hard, and he's throwing it from different angles. He's throwing left hand, right hand. He's throwing body shots. It's very, very confusing to Courtney over here.
Sometimes I think that when guys switch feet, they're like overcompensating for something, for whatever the reason that may be. If they all of a sudden start switching feet, and maybe something's wrong with one of their hands or something like that. I've noticed that as a pattern.
Yeah, absolutely. If something's not working out, sometimes you want to switch from lefty to righty. I do it sometimes, but I can hit hard in both hands, and I want to get a different angle. Courtney's doing it. He's not really focused on the technique of how to really use that to him. Like right there, you can't see. He really doesn't know what he's doing right there. Patrick Day's going there with a nice left hook to the body.
Right.
You're going to see that continually tonight.
Courtney Pennington had 2 fights in 2015. He won one, he lost one, and in his very last fight against Rich Neves, he won a majority decision over 6 rounds.
The fantastic part about this, too, Pat Day took this fight on a 2 weeks' notice. One of the other opponent, Sean Cameron, got injured, and he came in and took the spot, and he's actually taking the role of this fight, which is another fantastic thing.
And you know, from the Freeport gym, you said you've been there. Joe Higgins, he always has the guys in shape. He's a great trainer. He's he's like a drill sergeant in there, so they're always in shape and ready to fight.
Well, Joe was a drill sergeant, I believe, wasn't he?
I know he was a firefighter.
Yeah,
drill sergeant, that's new.
Yeah, I believe he was a drill sergeant. He's a. You can hear his voice throughout the whole night. He does a fantastic job with that. You can see Pat Day coming in with really fast combinations now.
Now, just a few moments ago, Patrick Day landed a lead right hand that maybe it didn't stagger Courtney Pennington, but he certainly felt it.
Absolutely. You can see Pennington keeps bending over. He's really trying not to engage as much now. And Pat Day definitely has more of the technique down, more than Pennington. Pennington he's not really finding himself yet. And I know Pat Day, though, has been in the ring with all top fighters all over the world. He's been hired to go to different training camps in Russia, in all over the country, just to get sparring with. So he's doing a great job tonight. Oh, there he goes right there.
Looks to me like Patrick Day is growing in confidence. Not only from the outside is he doing the job, but on the inside, it looks like he's really starting to have some fun.
Absolutely, but you see Pennington, he's trying to come with different angles. He's trying to hit him with the uppercut now, not just trying to hit him with that 1-2 punch, but Pat Day is relentless. He's coming there with some really brutal shots every time. He keeps his hands up when he's moving back. He's doing a fantastic job tonight.
Final seconds, round number 2, junior middleweight bout. What a round. I thought it was a very good round for Patrick Day in round number 2.
Absolutely.
Let's take a look at some of the action from round number 2. I think it was basically all Patrick Day, Cletus.
Absolutely. You can see him just coming in. He's throwing vicious shot. You can see he's throwing every punch so hard, even with the body shots. Because he's throwing his punches 3 or 4 or 5 at a time, one of them's going to land. And that's one of these things that these young fighters need to do. Throw 3, 4, 5 punches, because one of them are going to land. He's still working on the inside when the other guy doesn't want to work. That's one of the big things in boxing. You don't want to hold up when the other guy's tired. Don't let him, and just keep punching. He did a fantastic job this round, and Joe Higgins knows it, and he's telling him right down to dig down deep in his heart and throw it out there.
Joe Higgins, a father figure to Patrick Day. The two of them have been together for years, and they truly have a very special relationship. But then you know what? Joe Higgins has that with all of his fighters.
Absolutely, every fighter. Shawnee Monahan, one of the best fighters in the world. These guys all love and respect each other. It's such a beautiful thing to see.
This is round number 3, junior middleweight bout between Patrick Day in the white trunks with the red stripe and Courtney Pennington, red trunks, white stripes.
You can see Pennington try to come out this time, come out a little harder in the beginning of the round, but then he keeps getting pushed back about 30 seconds in, which is disappointing to see for himself, because he should just keep coming forwards and take those chances, because the fight's going to be over in a little bit, and he doesn't want to go home and remember that he didn't get to do that. There he goes. But I would like for him to stay inside and keep throwing those punches, because it's going to be really hard for him to outbox Patrick Day.
You know, at the weigh-in yesterday, Patrick Day was telling me, I think you're going to like what you see of me in there because I know you've seen a lot of me. And he's right. I do like what I'm seeing so far. Controlled. He's not rushing things. He's putting his punches together. And I love that, what I call the shotgun jab.
Yeah, he throws a beautiful jab, and he's throwing his punches straight. When he throws them straight, they look so beautiful. Sometimes he's trying to hit with that overhand right, that little hammer. He's just missing it over. He just needs to learn how to bend a little bit more first and then throw it. He keeps throwing it over his shoulder, but those straight punches look fantastic. Right now, Patrick Day's been putting on the pressure the entire fight. He's taking a little time off right now. This would be a good time for Pendleton to come in there and show them that he's not as tired as you think he is, and he's going to come forwards and show you that even though you're tired, I'm going to make you even more tired, which he's kind of doing right now, which looks really nice. Because remember, it takes twice as much energy to go backwards than it is come forwards.
And this one is scheduled for 6 rounds. Patrick Day weighed in at 155, as did Courtney Pennington. Pennington 8-3-1 with 4 knockouts. Patrick Day 11-2-1 with 6 knockouts.
You can see Patrick Day's physique too. At 155, this guy is a built monster. You can see he doesn't have an ounce of fat on him. You can see every ripple in his muscles. Beautiful. There you go, nice fast combination.
He's definitely he's the bigger guy. He's more physically imposing than Pennington, for sure.
Absolutely, and Pendleton has the wider frame. You can see that he has the wider frame, but Pat Day's the taller guy, but he still has that boxer build that you really want.
He's just compact. He has like the right frame, the right body. You said it right.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe I don't know how his training camp was compared to the others, but Pat Day came in here 100% ready to go, and on a short notice, so that's even better.
Right, 2 weeks notice, right?
Yeah, that's a fantastic job. That's another good round for Patrick Day.
Put that one in the books. This one, half gone. We'll be back with more of Joe DeGuardia's Rockin' Fights 23 after this.
Give me some of that cane.
I'm not aware.
Welcome back to the Paramount in Huntington, Long Island, New York, for this 6-round junior middleweight bout between Patrick Day in the white trunks with the red stripes and Courtney Pennington, red trunks, white stripes. So far, it's been a competitive fight, but it's been all Patrick Day.
Yeah, Patrick Day came out again nice and strong. Pendleton tried to get him against the ropes, but because Patrick Day moves with his hands up the entire time, it's very frustrating to see that there's no openings for the guy. Again, his hands are up and he's right there.
Exactly. As you were saying it, Pennington let go with a left-right, and both shots were picked off on the arms of Patrick Day.
What Pendleton needs to do is keep throwing those combinations, but then slip that uppercut like he was doing before, just to mix it up, because his hands on the outside, just like that old Customado the defense he used to throw.
Right, the old peekaboo.
The peekaboo style. So right there is when he can throw those 2 wide shots and come right up the gut, right up to the top of the head. That's where his opportunity would be.
Customado, of course, the former manager of heavyweight champions Floyd Patterson and Mike Tyson, Catskill Thunder.
One of the best. He'd take his time and train each fighter particular to a certain style and teach him, telling him that's the only way to train. And that was the right way for that gym to do it.
There's Patrick Day with that overhand right that you were talking about before. Sometimes he doesn't throw the straight punch. He loops it a little bit. He has not had any success with that overhand right. There's a nice right uppercut by Patrick Day.
Yeah, the 2 times he just threw, nice 2 body shots, and those are the shots that are working for him. He needs to learn how to keep instead of throwing that, wasting that overhand right, which takes so much energy up, to throw that to the body. Nice right hook to the body. You can't miss him. And if you do hit him, he's going to feel the power, which really, really is going to hurt him. There you go. It's another good combination. Starting from the bottom, working his way up. Pendleton needs to start throwing his combinations coming forwards. more than one punch.
Courtney Pennington with that 8-3-1 record. All 3 of his losses have been by decision. He has never been stopped.
No, and he's fought a lot of tough fighters. He's in there right now with another tough fight. This is the turning point fight. This is going to be a turning point for both of these guys in their career to see who's going to go from 6 rounds to 8 rounds in the future.
Pennington trying that double jab there, but as you
Oh,
said
there you
before,
go.
yeah, there's that overhand right that finally gets in. Those hands are held very high by Patrick Day, and he is just picking those shots off.
Absolutely, and he's picking them off easily, and he's blocking them so beautifully. It's so nice to see him do that. Pennington working on the inside, though, which I really like. Especially after getting hit with a big shot like that.
Pennington trying to dig down, feeling that he's slipping behind, trying to work inside at any cost, even when he's being clinched and held on to.
What I liked in that last punch from Pat Day was he didn't throw the overhand right. He actually threw it to the body that time. And he landed on his body instead of throwing it over his head like he normally has been doing. So let's see if he keeps continuing throwing that punch.
Round number 4 is in the books. And Patrick Day, I think, is just pulling away in this fight in a competitive fight.
Absolutely.
Okay, Cletus Selden, let's take a look at some action from round number 4.
Here comes Pennington throwing his combinations. When he throws this, he looks fantastic. He needs to come up with a few more. Pat Day coming in with another few combinations and digging that left hook to the body. You can see the expressions on Courtney's face. And again, more combinations coming from Pat Day from different angles, and that's making a difference in this fight. Boom. That right hand, that hammer punch that he wants to throw. He just threw it a little bit this time, actually too short. Before he was throwing it too long. So if he gets that in there, he's going to really, really injure Courtney Pennington tonight.
There's Joe Higgins drowning his fighter, Patrick Day, dumping the water all over his head. And it's not a hot arena.
No, but at least they have these safety mats. The safety mats clear up all the water. It's fantastic. Especially me being a main event fighter, you don't want to go in the ring being soaking wet. Especially
I know how many times have we watched fights and we've seen all over the country just puddles all over the place. The safety mats are a great invention by Tom Clohessy and his group. Tremendous device.
Yeah, fantastic. You can see these guys are really going at it right now. This is probably the best start of any fight right now. Here we go. Pennington's coming forwards. Pat Day's digging to the body. Everybody's leaving it out. Pennington might have been a slow starter, and he's coming back right now. This might be the later rounds, might be his fight.
Well, he's got to feel it slipping away. And he doesn't want to lose this fight. I mean, you never want to lose any fight, but, you know, in his last fight, he did lose a majority decision in 6 rounds, and he told me at the weigh-in yesterday, he said, I want this fight so bad. If I can beat a guy like a Patrick Day, I am really back in the picture again.
Absolutely, especially in New York. He's from Brooklyn. You got Pat Day from Long Island. These are New York fighters, and they're fighting at the same weight class. There's only a few of them around, so it's fantastic to see them both put it on here tonight. And you can see Courtney Pennington has a different attitude now. I think he's taken Pat Day's best punch, and he's able to know that he can do it and come forwards.
That's a good point.
Yeah, he's seen you taking a good punch, and he's coming forward now. You know, if I take his best punch, and I can keep him fighting.
He's fighting with more confidence and more urgency now. I don't think he thought Day was going to be in as good shape as he was, and it took him by surprise the first 3 rounds. Now he's making adjustments.
Absolutely. But Pat Day played it smart. He kept going to the body at the beginning of the fight, which is nice. And when you weigh in and go into the weigh-ins, the first thing you do is you stare at that man's stomach. If you got a little fat on him, you want to go to his body right away. There he goes. He's throwing different combinations now. You've seen Pat Day has his hands up and he's throwing uppercuts, even with his left arm now.
As you guys mentioned earlier, Patrick Day was basically a last-second replacement in this fight, but he had been training for another fight which fell out, so he was in shape. It's not like he had to quickly get in shape. He was already ready. So one fight fell out, and he took this fight. Just different opponents.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's still in the back of your head. You still remember that, oh, you're supposed to be training for a different fight, but he's a warrior, and he wants to fight. He doesn't want to waste all that time in the gym. So he came out here tonight, and he's doing a fantastic job.
Nice double hook to the body by Patrick Day.
Absolutely. Look at that jab. It's so strong. It's so long. And he's on balance with it. Courtney has a balance issue as well. You can see he's hopping back and forth. Every time he throws a punch, he's never able to throw another one. If he had a more better with his balance, he'd be able to throw better punches, and he wouldn't be able to throw them with left hooks like a slap like he just did there. Even though it landed, if he threw it the correct way, he would hit him with it right on the knuckles and got Pate's attention. That was a
That's
good
the
round.
5th round in the books. 1 round to go in this junior middleweight bout.
What do you
between
guys see so
Patrick
far?
Day and Courtney Pennington. I've got it a shutout across the board. It has been at times a real competitive shutout, but a shutout, I think, nonetheless.
Absolutely. That last round was Pennington's best round, so I'm actually going to give him that round. You got Pennington coming in with a punch, but then guess what? You got Pat Day coming back with 4, 5, 6 punches, and he's landing all of them. At least he's going to see Pat Day had his hands up again. He's going up the middle. Now he's throwing these uppercuts against. He sees Pat Day has this wide defense that he can hit him with these uppercuts, and exactly, at least he's going to what he believes is working, and it's actually working for him right now. In a sense that he's not getting pushed back and he's not getting taken advantage of. He's actually keeping himself in the fight, and he's looking stronger than he did in the last round.
Referee Sparkle Lee brings them to the center of the ring. They touch gloves, which is not mandatory. You don't have to touch gloves, but the referee will ask you to anyway. And the 6th and final round is underway. If you're just joining us, Patrick Day is in the white trunks, red stripes. Courtney Pennington, red trunks, white stripes. This is junior middleweights. Both these guys weigh 155 pounds.
This looks like it's going to be Courtney's round. Courtney looks like he's taking a little time off. He's going to pace himself a little bit. He's going to come hard. He's not going to overdo it because you can see he's a little bit more patient down than he was in the first 2 or 3 rounds. Right now, he's a little bit more patient, looking for his opportunity, and I think he's going to put it all on him and leave it all out there at the end. And you can see it right there. He's digging those little shots, and he wants to he wants to work.
Would you say, is he looking for a knockout?
He's going to look for, he has to look for something. He has to look for something. He knows he can only win by a knockout right now.
Now, if you were in Day's corner, and Cletus, I'll ask you this one first. If you were in Day's corner, would you tell him just move, keep your hands up, keep out of trouble?
Absolutely not, because that's exactly the energy and the momentum that the other fighter will be getting. In a 6-round fight, you need to come forwards as well and show him that you're not going to push him back and make him feel uncomfortable as well. Because if Pat Day can push him back right now, Courtney Pennington would become a different fighter and go back to what he was doing earlier. Day was a good shot by him, and now he's thinking. Courtney's thinking because he got hit with a good shot.
And Kara, do you think Day should take off this round and turn this into the Patrick Day Invitational track meet?
I don't think so. Like, Cletus said, it's a 6-round fight. I think that, and also in terms of practice, it's a great round for him to, the next fight he might be fighting 8 rounds, so this is a good opportunity for him to, practice in there and to go the distance and to fight throughout the whole fight.
Absolutely. This was a good 6 rounds, competitive. They worked the entire time fight. The experience they're going to get from here is more than anything they can do at home in the gym. So great point there, Kara.
I mean, if I was in Pennington's corner, obviously I would be telling him to go for the knockout. Try to find it, look for it, just fight really hard. That's all you can tell him because he is losing the fight on points, and the only way he can win is by knockout. So that's a different story.
Absolutely, and if Pennington finishes the fight strong on his feet, throwing punches, there's no shame in that. That's the way. It's not always about winning, losing. It's about the way you win and lose. Oh, that was a dirty punch right there.
Whoops.
He should have got a warning. Let's see if Pat Day comes back with something. Up. And Pennington hit him a little low there, too.
I think it was earlier in the fight, 1st or 2nd round, you might see him do that, but in the final 30 seconds or so of the fight, you're not going to see him do it, not taking any chances.
Absolutely not. Yeah, you're right. And you can see Pat Day know what he did. He didn't come back with a legal shot. He hit him with a good body shot. And got his attention again. Said, I'm the bigger man right here.
Final seconds. Courtney Pennington trying to get the right hand in. This one goes to the cards. Put your pen and pencils down. And let's take a look. Cletus, watch this. They always say, protect yourself at all times.
Yes,
and here's why.
You can see Sparkle Lee's in there. Each fighter is supposed to take 1 step back. Pennington doesn't take a step back, and he throws a punch right there. He should get a warning right away. He's looks.
A warning, or should she take a point right there?
It's late in the fight. last round, he should just get a warning. If this was early in the fight, I would give him a strict warning. I would never took a point off, but I would give him a strict warning. And if he did it again, especially with that low blow, I would then took a point right away.
And I've seen a lot of referees do that. And what you mean by that strict warning is they don't say, hey, watch that. They say, you do that again, you are going to be taking a shower. We'll be back with more of Joe DeGuardia's StarBoxing Rockin' Fights 23, waiting for the decision, which I think is only academic, but we'll find it out when we come back. Welcome back to the Paramount here in Huntington, Long Island, New York. David Diamante has the scorecards. Let's make this one official.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds of action here at the Paramount, we go to the judges' scorecards. Kevin Morgan and Larry Hazard Jr. both scored this bout 59-55. Carlos Ortiz Jr. scored this bout 58-56. All three for your winner by unanimous decision. From Freeport, New York, Patrick Day.
No surprise there. Courtney Pennington was play acting a little bit, putting his hands up as if he was going to win that decision, as if that would have made any difference anyway by raising his hands. He does drop a unanimous decision. Patrick Day now ups his record with a nice, if you want to say, comeback win. He's now 12-2-1. And Courtney Pennington has just seen his record fall to 8-4-1. Cletus, let's get up to Kara. Castronova stands by with a happy winner, Patrick Day.
This fight on 2 weeks' notice. How did you feel about your performance?
Sorry to correct you, I came in on 10 days notice, but I've been training for a long time. My fight in November, I lost. It was a shocking upset, and I lost a lot of sleep since then. It's just been a 5-month nightmare, and I worked my way out of it. A lot of people would have sulked and stayed in the shadows crying, but I got my way out of it. I worked hard, and it feels good to be in victory under the lights. I worked my way out of my position, and I have no one to thank but my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for giving me a beautiful team like my trainer, Joe Higgins, my beautiful family back there. God bless you guys.
I know that last year was a little hard for you. This year is going to be different?
Absolutely. To be completely honest, I don't plan on losing anymore. You know, tonight I give myself a C+, B, you know, B-. My timing was a little off. I haven't fought in 5 months. But I'm going to get warming up. You know, I'm going to stay in the gym. My trainer here, I want to thank him for not giving up on me. I was a former prospect, #1 in the United States, and I lost by TKO the fight before this. So I want to thank him for staying by my side and not getting upset. You know, he's family too.
Well, congratulations on, it was a great fight. I think that you're going to go on to many more victories, and I really do look forward to watching that.
Thank you, Kara. It's an honor. And, yeah, it's an honor.
Thank you, Kara, and congratulations.
Figure a homecoming after a loss. Shout out to
Patrick Day doesn't want to give
Joe
up.
Joe DeGuardia's prospect right there. That's my big brother. I thank him for coming out. But it's a beautiful, it feels so good to fight in Long Island. This is my homecoming. I'm from Freeport, only 30 minutes away, and I plan on returning.
All right, congratulations. Keep up the good work.
We got Patrick
Day coming over to us. You look great, buddy. You look great,
You look great, buddy. You look like you can fight 6 more rounds. That was fantastic.
Patrick
Great
Day.
job. Great job. Steve Joe. Beautiful. You did a fantastic job, buddy. You did fantastic. Fantastic.
Randy G, along with Cletus Selden.
6 more rounds.
Absolutely. Of course, Randy Gordon here. Randy Gordon in the house. Sitting next
the ring announcer, David No. Oh, I'm sorry.
We got right here in the front row. From Assault in the Ring, HBO's Assault in the Ring, Louis Resto. Irish Kevin Collins in the house tonight, ladies and
Patrick Day with a unanimous decision takes his record now to 12-2-1 in an action-packed bout. It was Patrick basically all the way in a unanimous decision. It was a competitive shutout, but Patrick Day did what he had to do.
Absolutely. He kept coming in with combinations. That's the fight that you wanted, and that's the one he did too. And he didn't box. He came in there and threw a lot of hard punches the entire fight, forwards and backwards. Good job, Patrick Day.
Yes. Got it.
Okay. So after, yep.
Patrick Day ups his record to 12-2-1.
Patrick Day looked fantastic. He threw a lot of punches, a lot of combinations. He looked forward, coming forwards, going backwards. He did a fantastic job tonight. Congratulations to him, Patrick Day. You are going to continue this process in your career.
Well, Patrick Day came back after a loss. What a win tonight.
No. Not yet. Waiting for you.
Welcome back to Joe DeGuardia's StarBoxing Rockin' Fights 23. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape, Cletus.
You got Daniel Gonzalez versus Carlos Acuna from Nicaragua. Daniel Gonzalez is the undefeated fighter against the tough veteran, the 10-16 Carlos. The age, big difference right here, and the weight's going to be the same.
Let's go up to ring announcer David Diamante and ring the bell for the start of this fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Paramount here in Huntington, New York, we are set to go with our next bout of the evening, and it's all being brought to you courtesy of Joe DeGuardia's StarBoxing. Your three judges scoring this contest from ringside: Larry Hazard Jr., John McKay, and Carlos Ortiz Jr. At the sound of the bell, your third man in the ring, Pat Sullivan. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 8 rounds of boxing scheduled in the junior welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, he wears the red trunks with white trim. He weighed in at an even 140 pounds. His professional record, 8 victories against 15 defeats. He has 4 wins coming by way of knockout. De Managua, Nicaragua. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Carlos Zurdo Aguilera. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner. He wears the red, white, and blue and silver. He weighed in at a ready 139.6 pounds. His professional record, 10 victories, no defeats. He has 1 draw and 4 wins coming by way of knockout. Representing Universal Boxing from Woodhaven, New York, ladies and gentlemen, Danny El Gallo Gonzalez.
All right, fighters, you'll be giving you instructions in your dressing room, okay? I expect you to obey the New York State Athletic Commission's commands, all right? Protect yourself at all times, fellas. Keep it clean. Touch gloves, come out fighting at the bell. Touch gloves.
Here we go. This one in the 140-pound weight division, scheduled for 8 rounds. You know a little bit about 140-pounders, Cletus Selden. Daniel Gonzalez.
Absolutely.
Against Carlos Aguilera.
140 is the weight class to be right now. Daniel Gonzalez, the young, hungry, undefeated lion against the tough veteran from Nicaragua. Actually fought his coach that's in his corner tonight, Wilfredo Acuna. He was a really tough fighter, and these guys really come to fight, these Nicaraguan kids. These guys come in here and they really put it all on the line. And then you can tell he's coming forward right now. But Daniel Gonzalez has really, really lightning quick feet and very light on him. He can throw combinations right off the bat. This is Daniel Gonzalez's first 8-round fight, and he comes out of that really tough hard-working gym in Queens at the Universal Boxing Gym run by Moses. Puts all these guys through tremendous hard work. I know I went there in the wintertime. They have a heater that comes out with 100 degrees heat right above the ring. It's extremely hot in there, and these fighters work. Danny Gonzalez is in shape all year round.
Do you like training in a hot gym? Do you think it's better for a fighter?
Absolutely. I go down to Florida each training camp. I love it down there when it's nice and high, especially in the summertime, because if I can work up there, down there in the extreme heat, I can come up here and it'd be a nice little breeze for me. And down there, you work with 30-second in between rest rounds, so it's even worse. I remember coming back to the corner and my trainers are sweating.
Carlos Aguilera in the red trunks, white stripe, the southpaw. Daniel Gonzalez feeling him out, having a little early fight problems with that right jab.
Absolutely. You got to see, he's got another lefty and a righty coming up, but he doesn't really know how to get over it right off the bat. So Danny's going to have to take a little bit more chances so he can get this fight going and get his sweat going and get the move on. Because once he's in, he's in.
And that record of Carlos Aguilera, 10-16, 10 wins, 16 losses with 4 knockouts. He's not the biggest puncher in the world, but certainly he's not the losing fighter that record makes you think he is, because he goes into the backyard so many times of young prospects just like Daniel Gonzalez.
Absolutely, and you can see that he's trying to fight off his back foot and try to take the energy and all the steam actually out of Gonzalez, because he was very pumped and excited in between the round. Before the fight even started, he was jumping up, he was excited, he got his hands up, and he actually took a little bit of air out of the entire arena, which is a good little strategy by Carlos.
Carlos, not the biggest puncher in the world. I mean, he does have 4 knockouts in his 10 wins, but basically he will outwork you. He's in tremendous condition, and I know you happen to like his wardrobe tonight.
Absolutely. Also, Danny Gonzalez, he only has 4 knockouts as well, even though Carlos has 4 knockouts.
Yep.
So it was really nice to see Danny come out there and put on a show and get a knockout for himself.
Well, round number 1 is in the books. And remember, this one is scheduled for 8 rounds. And let's take a look into the blue corner.
So You have Wilfredo Acuna. I fought him in my 13th pro fight. He has really good strategies. He's going to be fighting off his back foot. He's going to tell Carlos right now, he's going to tell him to keep relaxing and find his opportunity to counter. I know how he fights. I've been in there with him. He's going to tell him to fight off his back foot. He's not going to come forwards like you think, because every time Danny comes in, he's going to back off. That's exactly what he's telling him right now.
So when you say a guy is fighting off his back foot, basically means get the punch out and then get out.
Absolutely. He's going to throw 1-2 punches, try to counter, and he's going to back right out of there. What Danny needs to do is throw more than 1 or 2 punches, come in with a fury of punches, 3, 4, 5 punches. That's where he's going to catch him, and that's where Carlos' hands are going to come down when he goes back too, and he's going to catch him totally off balance, because you don't want to fight off your back foot the entire fight, just a little bit of part of it. But you can see how he keeps his left leg so stiff that every time he throws a punch, he comes right out.
It's round number 2. Carlos Aguilera and Danny Gonzalez. Danny in the white trunks with the blue and all the other accessories on there. Carlos Aguilera, red trunks, white stripes, southpaw.
It seems like Gonzalez is having, he's having a hard time catching Aguilera's rhythm. He's still having a hard time landing those initial combinations that'll give him that confidence. He's still trying to figure out his rhythm.
Absolutely, you can see that too. The way that the Nicaraguan kid keeps kind of backing out, and he can't get his range at all. Everything's not flowing in his way.
It's very frustrating. I'm sure you know, Cletus, to fight somebody like that, somebody with that like unorthodox, weird movement pattern that you have to second guess yourself when you throw.
Absolutely. He fights the same way as Wilfredo Acuna. Wilfredo Acuna also fought Chris Algieri, and Chris Algieri had a tough time with him as well. What I realized was, instead of backing him up and trying to play this little chess match with him, to actually bring it to him and not to do that, just to go out there and make him work a little bit, and he'll make that mistake. And that's what I did to Wilfredo Acuna. So Danny needs to do what he's doing right here. Make him work. Instead of backing out, make him work some more.
What they're going to have to watch for, and as Kara pointed out before, because when you have a right-hander against a southpaw, they step on each other's feet, and just as I was talking about it, Daniel Gonzalez happened to step on the right foot of Aguilera. And you gotta watch for headbutts, because their heads are just banging around in there. And Aguilera loves coming forward and just ducking down and grabbing the waist of Gonzalez. And twice their heads have just lightly collided.
You can see it every time Danny comes in. Carlos goes right down every time. He's so awkward though. It's really hard for him to actually be on balance and have good technique, so he actually has to put his head down and just throw punches over his shoulders.
Yeah, he's having a hard time landing that jab. He's actually coming in with his head and trying to land body shots, not even leading up with the jab. So he's definitely having a hard time breaking through, Aguilera's unorthodox movements.
Danny laying back a little bit right now. Tried an overhand right a few moments ago that went right over the head of Aguilera.
What I would like to see Danny do is move his feet just like before. They need to move left and right, not to stand and attack from each other right from the get-go. You guys know what each other's going to do if they're standing right in front of each other. But if Danny uses his legs, go left and right, he will see that he can make angles and be a very effective coming forward puncher.
And another round in the books. And that was a frustrating round, I thought, for Daniel Gonzalez. He didn't look like he was really in command of that round. And let's take a look at some action from round number 2, Cletus.
You have Danny Gonzalez trying to work. He's really coming in there trying to work, but he doesn't want to take too many chances. And as that happened, you can see Carlos Aguilera backing out. Again, he's trying to come in with his punches, but Aguilera keeps backing out. Is Aguilera going to win the round? No, but he's making it a tough fight for Danny Gonzalez tonight.
On your official scorecard, who did you give that last round to?
That's going to go to Danny. Danny threw more punches. He came forward. He tried to make the fight happen, but Danny wants to go out there and prove himself that he belongs to StarBoxing, and he wants to put on a show, and it's very tough for him right now, being on the outside of the Nicaraguan kid's jab. It's very tough for him.
It's like you almost feel his frustration. You could see it from here.
Well, let's see if they figured it out this round. Daniel Gonzalez comes out, starts to put the pressure on, runs into a shot. And again, as Cletus said earlier, there's Carlos Aguilera fighting again off that back foot, and just as he started to step back, then he leaned in, grabbed, pulls with one hand, punches with the other.
Absolutely. He's doing it all night long. At least they're in there now trying to dig to the body. They're digging in the body. They're punching. They're going out there. Not the most beautiful thing, but they're working hard.
You know, there are truly good fighters with bad records and bad fighters with good records. Carlos Aguilera happens to be one of those good fighters with a bad record.
Yes, you can tell he's been in everybody's backyard. He probably never even fought at home in years. So he's definitely showing his tough spirit and his tough heart right here, right now at the Paramount.
Well,
one thing, though, is Danny works out hard. He's used to living in this kind of style. So I don't know how hard Carlos has been working, but Danny has been working extremely hard, and you can tell on the inside now where the fight's going to go. Danny's going to start throwing a little bit more punches.
Well, Aguilera tells me he's really in great shape. And of his last 5 fights, he lost his last one, but he won his actually of his last 6. He lost his last fight and then was on a 5-fight winning streak before that.
Yeah, and that's him going all over the place, fighting anybody he can. He's doing a great job being in there as a tough game opponent, just like he truly is. But on the other hand, because he's been there, he got so much experience, he's going to the body. He knows it's an 8-round fight, and he's working as hard as he can. Good, again, you can see just aiming for the body. He's not even trying for his head anymore.
Oh.
And Danny's just aiming at his head. He's just whipping these punches. He needs to put a little bit more hip into it. He can take him out of there.
Danny would love to fight this one at a phone booth. He doesn't like the movement he's getting.
He definitely hurt him with those few pop shots, the uppercut, the right hook. He's throwing it from every angle. He's doing it. That was a fantastic flurry he had the last 20 seconds. He might take him out between this round and next. He's definitely throwing those punches in bunching, and he's throwing from different angles. He doesn't even know how to defend himself. He doesn't know if they come from the head or the body.
They have traded low blows this round. I wasn't sure if that was an intentional shot by Danny, like a payback shot. But each guy has landed a low shot, which has had referee Pat Sullivan say, keep him up, boys.
Danny's working that body. He doesn't even need to hit the head. He just keeps working that body. He's going to finish this fight nice and strong for himself.
Yeah, once Danny gets in there, he's good. You know, he gets in there, he's the stronger fighter for sure. It's just the matter of getting in there.
Yeah, once he's in there, he's in, and he's working very hard.
Another one in the books. This is Joe DeGuardia's StarBoxing Rockin' Fights 23. We'll be back with more after this. Welcome back to StarBoxing's Rockin' Fights 23 from the Paramount in Huntington, Long Island, New York. This one is an 8-round bout between Carlos Aguilera in the red trunks and Daniel Gonzalez. Daniel 10-0-1 with 4 knockouts. Carlos Aguilera with a very deceiving 10-16 record.
Danny's coming in there. He's trying to finish this fight right now. He's got him against the ropes early in the round. He's got his head in there. He's grinding. He's grinding as hard as he's throwing his punches really hard. Hopefully he doesn't get countered. Hopefully he doesn't get tired.
Coming in with his hand dropped like that, Cletus, it kind of, you know, I know you do that with the lead left drop down. Do you think he's at risk for getting countered though, like you just mentioned?
It depends if he really wants to take the Nicaraguan's power. He's taken it. He's tested it. Does he believe in himself that he can take that big shot from him, and take that big chance and come out with a good victory right here? You always got to weigh that risk and that reward. Do you want to take that opportunity? And there he goes. Look at that. 4 or 5 punch combinations. Body, head. Ripping the shots. Looks fantastic right now. Oh, over and over again. I just wish he would sit down on that last punch that he throws. He could really do some damage there. If he just sat on that last punch, he looks like he's just flailing his arm, just doing damage, but he could really stop him if he did that.
He's definitely slowing Aguilera down. Aguilera is not as he's not moving as much. He's sort of worn out. You could see that now.
Absolutely, but he's definitely game. He's still punching. He's in tremendous shape, like you said earlier, Randy.
Remember, this is the 5th round, and as you mentioned earlier, Cletus, Daniel Gonzalez has never been that 8-round distance, and on a few occasions, Aguilera has been past 8 rounds. So do you think he's trying to make Daniel work a little bit harder and just burn him out right here?
Absolutely. That's a great point, because Danny, he knows he has 4 knockouts. He wants to get that 5th knockout, so he's going to work extremely harder than he thinks. But the Carlos, at the same time, wants to get him in a deeper round, so it might be something that weighs the risk and reward into Aguilera's corner. But Danny, if he continues going to the body, he will finish the fight not as drained as Aguilera would.
Several nice right uppercuts by Daniel Gonzalez, and he's turned those right uppercuts into overhand rights, leaning into that right hand, trying for the knockout. You just know Daniel wants to end this fight.
Absolutely.
But again, should he try to put too much into those shots, he just might punch himself out.
Absolutely. He needs to go back to the body like he is right there. But I wish he would just continue focusing like he did before, not try to find that one-punch shot. Especially if you don't really have it yet, to just keep throwing those combinations like he did right there at the end of the round. And he's done that entire round. He looked fantastic.
And let's take a look at that hot round. This thing is really heating up.
Here comes Danny Gonzalez throwing more combinations, just like you saw earlier. He just keeps digging them and digging them and digging them. Wouldn't you agree with me, Tara?
I would definitely agree with you. He's throwing more combinations. He's found his openings now. You know, he's found the weaknesses in Carlos Aguilera's, in his guard, and he's actually landing more shots up close. It might not be the prettiest rounds for him, but he's definitely winning the last couple rounds.
He looks so much better when he's throwing the combinations instead of trying that one-punch knockout. When he tries the one-punch knockout, sure, he might land it on the hand, he might land on the elbow, but it's not as effective as when he's throwing those combinations. Everybody wants to be known as that big knockout guy, that guy that can finish the fight. And he really believes he wants to be that guy, and it's good, but at the same time, you don't want to lose yourself in the middle of the fight.
Right. And it takes a lot of stamina, mental stamina, I think, to not look for that big knockout, to actually go in there and box and not to go in there crazy. A lot of people don't realize that it takes a lot of mental strength to do that.
And Pat Sullivan had the New York State Athletic Commission doctors take a look at Aguilera. He may have a little cut there. I didn't see any cut, but I don't know why. Other than that, they would have had the doctors taking a look at him.
Yeah, the doctor had a beautiful bow tie, by the way. That's really hard to tie a bow tie. It looked really good.
Did you notice his bow tie when you were fighting?
If he had a bow tie on, I would definitely notice it, because it's very hard to tie one. It's impossible to me.
I think he had that one on your last fight.
Randy G ringside, along with Cletus Selden and Cara Castronova, here at the Paramount in Huntington, Long Island, New York. This is round number 6.
Aguilera is continuing the fight on the inside with him. He's sitting there, he can take his punches and he's throwing back. Danny's doing the same thing. This is a great fight. If Danny continues to throw the combination throughout the rest of this fight, the rest of this round, he'll probably stop him. If he does go back to throwing that one-punch shot, he's not going to get it over with.
And that's what it looks like Danny is doing, and he's not a one-punch knockout hitter. Looking like he's loading up every time he throws a shot, whether it's a power hook or a right hand. Looks like he's trying to end it.
Absolutely, you can see it, but because Aguilera fights off his back foot and he keeps his left hand up, it keeps hitting him in his glove, and it's taking a lot of energy out of Danny Gonzalez as he spits out a little bit of water out of his mouth right there. You can tell he's really digging deep and trying to keep the fight going, but he would not waste as much energy by throwing that big punch. Danny's doing great work on the inside, but as soon as he goes, Aguilera comes right back. This is a great fight for everybody.
You know, it's funny, even though I'm thinking that Danny Gonzalez is winning the fight, as I looked at my scorecard, I've got Danny up by 1 point.
Wow. It's definitely been a very competitive fight, especially in these last 2 or 3 rounds. Aguilera's been standing there with him.
I mean, Aguilera is not at his best on the inside, though. The earlier rounds when he's on the outside and he's unorthodox and hard to hit is when he's the best. But I think he's too tired now to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. His legs are too tight. He doesn't even want to bend back anymore. He's just trying to sit in there with him.
Yeah, like you mentioned earlier, he wants to fight off the back foot. He can't really do that much anymore.
But every time that Danny hits him with 5, 6, two times in combinations like that, he comes right back and he looks really good at doing it. So
I think it's a matter of heart now. I mean, he's in good shape, but he's definitely a fighter. He's a born fighter. He fights back when someone hits him. That's what it comes down to.
And that's the end of the 5th round.
Aguilera has a little cut on the right eye. You can see that going. Then
let's take a look at some action from a fight that could Aguilera be winning.
Again, Danny Gonzalez loading up with those big shots. I believe he should just save his energy and throw those nice timed little combinations over and over again. He's doing a good job there throwing the combinations, but again, if he tries to just not throw those big looping shots, as you can see, he'd be doing much more an effective way to fight. The doctor just called the fight. I believe it's over. Danny Gonzalez wins on a TKO.
The doctor is looking. I do not see any cut. Danny has just stood up and acknowledged the fact that he will be awarded a TKO victory, but I do not see any reason. Aguilera has accepted it with a smile and an embrace of Danny Gonzalez, but I don't know why, whether it was a cut, or you got to remember, also here in New York, they are very, very attuned to taking a look at the fight. And remember, a couple of years ago, they had just a horrible tragedy at Madison Square Garden with Abdul Salamet. Well, we're going to take a look, and it could be a cut or whatever, but we're going to find out what it was that brought an end to this junior welterweight contest when we come back. Karen?
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Paramount here in Huntington, Long Island, New York, and our own Cara Castronova is over talking with the doctor. Let's get the stoppage there from David Diamante, the time and everything. It appears to be a cut around the right eye. I saw the doctor pointing to Cara. Let's find it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Pat Sullivan calls a halt to this contest. The official time of the stoppage, 3 minutes of round number 5. Your winner by TKO. He's still undefeated, Danny El Gallo Gonzalez.
Yeah, apparently there was a cut around the right eye. We didn't see any blood coming down, but they were doing a great job then in the corner, keeping the blood from going into his eye. But apparently it was the cut. And let's get up to Cara with Daniel Gonzalez.
Thanks, guys. Danny, the first couple rounds you were having a little bit of a hard time adjusting to his movement, but you did adjust eventually.
Yeah.
Want to tell me about that?
Yeah, he's just a southpaw. You know, he's a veteran. He got a lot of fights. He kind of threw me off with the southpaw. Took me a couple rounds to figure him out. But once I was figuring him out, I was breaking him down. I think if it kept on going, I would have stopped him by like the 7th or 8th round.
So you think it was getting close to a stoppage?
Yeah, he was bleeding. I was hurting him with hooks. I was starting to find my timing. I was going to land the right hand good, the left hook, but they stopped it. You know, safety of the fighter is the most important.
Congratulations, Danny. That was a wonderful performance, and looking forward to seeing you at the Paramount again.
Thank you, definitely. I love the venue. Love StarBoxing.
Well, Daniel Gonzalez, a happy winner.
You can see Danny Gonzalez continue with those combinations in the later part of the round as well, which happened to be the cutover Aguilera's right eye, which ended the fight. So good job, great combinations for Danny. Good night, he got what he came in for, and he went the distance for longer than he ever did before. So good job, Danny. Keep up the great work.
Daniel Gonzalez now 11-0-1. Okay. Alan
Gote.
No.
That was just happened. It's going to be Cote versus Kip. Yes, just now. Oh, no, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Did we do it? Okay. Coming up next, an 8-round bout in the junior welterweight division between Daniel Gonzalez and Carlos Aguilera. Coming up next, a battle over 10 rounds for the New York State Junior Welterweight title between Alan Gote and Anthony Carparis. More StarBoxing coming up after this. Coming up, our main event of the evening, light heavyweights Joe Smith against Fabiano Pena. Coming up next, a light heavyweight main event between Joe Smith and Fabiano Pena here on Joe DeGuardia's StarBoxing Rockin' Fights 23. back to the Paramount in Huntington, New York. This is a title fight, New York State Junior Welterweight Championship between Anthony Carperis, Alan Gauthier. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape. Cletus Selden, you know these guys better than anybody.
Alan Gauthier, 8-2. Anthony Carperis, 11-2. This is the fight that's going to be a turning point. They're close in age, a little bit more height for Gauthier, so it's going to be a very interesting fight. But I believe Gautier's going to come forward, so go back to David Diamante.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are set to go with our next bout of the evening, and it's all being brought to you courtesy of Joe DeGuardia's StarBoxing. Sponsored by Picard Chiropractic, where they fight for your health right here in Huntington. Picard Chiropractic. This bout is sanctioned by the New York State Athletic Commission, Chairman Tom Hoover, Commissioner John Signorelli, Director of Boxing Eric Bentley. Your three judges scoring this contest from ringside: Larry Hazard Jr., John McKay, and Kevin Morgan. And at the sound of the bell, your third person in the ring, Sparkle Lee. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 10 rounds of boxing scheduled for the vacant New York State Junior Welterweight Championship. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, he wears black with gold trim. He weighed in at 138.8 pounds. His professional record, 11 victories against 2 defeats. He has 4 wins coming by way of knockout. From Hicksville, New York, ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Showtime Carperis. Carperis. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner. He wears the white with black and red trim. He weighed in at a ready 138.4 pounds. His professional record, 8 victories against 2 defeats. He has 4 wins coming way of knockout. From right here in Huntington, New York, ladies and gentlemen, Alan, the boxing chef, Gauthier. Gauthier.
You're ready to receive instructions, obey my commands, protect yourself at all times, touch gloves. Good luck, guys.
Sparkle Lee, our referee here in this 10-round Junior Welterweight title bout, New York State title bout. The rules: 10-point must system, no standing 8 count, an accidental headbutt. They're going to go to the scorecards after 4 complete rounds. The referee or the doctor can stop the fight. No saving by the bell, including the final round. Randy G, along with Cletus Selden and Cara Castronova. And Cletus, you know these guys better than anybody. You have sparred extensively with both of them. And Alan Gauthier happens to be a close personal friend, so Cara and I are going to have to reel you in a little bit.
I have sparred with both of them. The best thing about this, you got a kid that's from Huntington that fights out of another gym, and you have a kid that from another town that fights out of Huntington. This is going to be a fight that people are going to talk about for many years after this fight is over.
To me, this is the biggest fight Long Island has seen between 2 Long Islanders in 39 years since Bobby Cassidy took on John Capobianco back in 1977. That's how big this fight is.
Great job by Joe DeGuardia at StarBoxing, putting this fight together, giving the fans something really to cheer about. This is the main event tonight. Everybody is extremely excited about this one fight. I heard everybody all week talking about this one fight, and they're fighting for a reason. They're fighting for the New York State title and hometown turf.
I was looking forward to this fight. I got to say, both of these guys are talented. I know both of them, and I was surprised to see that they were fighting tonight. I really was. I was very much looking forward to it.
Cletus, Pete Bronsky does a lot of training of Alan Gauthier, and you know his style. Alan Gauthier has basically been a boxer, a mover. He uses those long arms, fast hands. Pete Brodsky tells me you're going to see a different Gauthier tonight. Why?
Absolutely. You see the difference right off the bat. He's the one trying to push back Caparis. Usually he's the one that's backing the boxer puncher. Now he's becoming a puncher. He's going to try to make this fight go into deep rounds and make Anthony Caparis work the entire time and see what happens, which puts him in the best position possible.
Both guys are extremely fast. Caparis, at his very best, can stand in front of you and he can make you miss all night long. He has very fast hands, a tremendous hook, and a terrific overhand right. Alan Gauthier, nice jab, powerful right hand, but today, so far, he really does look like a different fighter.
Absolutely, and you can see Caparis is sticking to his game plan as well. He's very fast, very good feet, and he has good angles. He's going to pop shot him. He can't let Alan go back and just push him around. He has to keep him off base just like he is, and keep pop shotting him. Caparis doesn't throw the greatest combinations, but he knows how to hit him with those good shots.
He's hitting him with a couple nice counters in there too. Alan is running into a few punches.
Round one is history. A lot of people around here said this one may not even get past the first round. I don't know. I see a lot of rounds in a very exciting fight. Again, I'm saying this could be very well the most exciting fight Long Island has seen in 39 years. First round action, Cletus Selden.
You got Alan Gauthier getting inside, even though he's holding, he's continuing with the punches. He's punching on the inside, making Caparis work. And Caparis doing what he wants to. He wants to get out there and hit them with those pop shots. When he's coming in with his hands down, he can come there and counter him, just like he's doing right there, and then get his way out. Alan wants to come forward, and you can tell the difference between the two fighters. They're both hungry, and they both want to come out with victory tonight.
Let me check the scorecards of both of you right now. Cletus, how'd you have the first round?
I'm a pressure fighter. I come forward. I give Gauthier that round.
Okay.
I think I give Caparis that round, to be honest. He's slotting a lot of counters in there. I don't know if anyone saw them, but I did.
Gauthier just went to southpaw. He went back to righty. Came out right away out of the southpaw position, went back to righty.
Why do you think he did that?
Honestly, I'm not sure. If he was going to do it, he should have stayed to it a little bit longer and let it confuse him a lot more instead of coming and just throwing it once and switching. It didn't do any effectiveness at all to it.
By the way, I checked Cletus Selden's heart rate right before the start of the fight. It was up to 197. I mean, I never heard of a heart rate like that.
Oh, baby, I'm ready to go. My medication must be wearing off. I'm ready to have a good time tonight. Look at them. They're sitting inside. These two lions are sitting there throwing punches. Let's see who's going to the body, who's going ahead, throwing the combinations. Cletus,
you've been in the ring countless rounds with these guys sparring. Who's a stronger fighter?
I'm going to say Anthony Caparis is the stronger fighter. He has a little bit of more of a right hand that comes over the top, but Alan Gauthier for the past 8 weeks has been doing consistent strength training, and he can tell the difference right now because he's trying to push Anthony Caparis back, which Anthony kind of is not feeling right. He wants to be the one that takes control of the ring, but Alan's doing it as well. You can hear the crowd. Everybody right now is screaming. Everybody came to see this one fight. It's fantastic.
Because both guys have pop, especially Alan with his right hand and Anthony with the left hook and the overhand right. I would not be surprised to see a flash knockdown.
Absolutely, you can see him. Even Gauthier's throwing punches on the inside. Caparis is still trying to find his one or two pop shots, dig it in there, just like you can see right there. But Gauthier's staying to his game plan. His game plan is to keep Caparis on his back foot and make him work.
Definitely pressure fighter tonight.
Absolutely, he's a different fighter. He's usually never done this before. We actually seen this a lot with when Chris Algieri came out and fought Amir Khan. He came out and put the pressure on because he knew that he wouldn't want to box with the guy. If you put him going forwards, he can put a really good put himself in a better position to win the fight.
Right. Do you think it's working so far for him?
Absolutely. Because as soon as he backed up, just like you saw him right there on the outside, he definitely was at a disadvantage. He needs to continue to push back Anthony Caparis. But remember, guys, these are the furthest these guys will ever fight. This is a 10-round fight. None of them been 10 rounds before. So hopefully they don't get too tired out there.
Are these guys friends, you know?
Honestly, I don't believe they are. Alan came from the same gym as him. He didn't get the attention as Anthony Caparis did. And Anthony Caparis was a good amateur. He won the Golden Gloves. A lot of fighters never won it. Alan was always pushed back to the side and kind of got lost in the mix. And I kind of know he wants to fight, and he wants to fight hard. And he's going to leave it out there. But you can see Caparis is not going to be letting it be an easy night for anyone.
Right.
10 seconds remain in the second round. This thing is really heating up for the New York State Junior Welterweight Championship, and through 2 rounds, it has lived up to its billing.
This is fantastic. Alan Gauthier sticking to his game plan. He's springing into his face. You can see on that last 10 seconds or so, Caparis was holding the entire time, and Alan was trying to work.
Let's take a look at that second round. To me, it looks like Alan Gauthier in the white has really been effective.
You can see him coming forwards with his head too. He looks a little like me, coming in with his head there. You can see how he's pushing, he's using another part of his body, which is totally legal, to come in there and throw his combinations. Caparis trying to catch and trying to return the same kind of punches. You can see again, Alan's trying to dig, and then, ooh, a beautiful up kick. That was beautiful. He just waited for it, and he threw it right up the top. Because Alan Gauthier likes to keep his hands like that customado defense, that Peekaboo style.
Now, you've, again, because you know them so well, you've been in the ring so many rounds in the gym with them. As you look at either one of them, do you see anything that tells you confidence or lack of it?
I see a beautiful, even fight right now. This fight is so even. These guys have literally trained so hard to get to this position right now. So I think they both are sticking to their game plans and keep continuing working. I don't want to see anybody take a round off, though, because that might be the momentum and the shift that the other fighter needs to take control.
Do you think Anthony has been surprised? Because the talk around the gym, his gym, is they know Alan, they know everything he's going to do, and all of a sudden the bell rings for round 1, and you've got a different Alan Gauthier. Do you think Caparis has been surprised by that?
I believe absolutely. Right off the bat, he knew that he's in himself in a fight. Right off the bat, you could see his demeanor. He was like, oh, wow, this isn't going to be the same kid that he knew. And Pete Brodsky did a fantastic job with him. Pete Brodsky took him down to Florida, and he trained him, and he made his mindset into becoming this animal that he had inside of him, but he was never able to release. And you can see it now. He's not giving no time off, and he's making good progress with it. And Joe Gadigian, his other trainer, is the guy who knows how to throw that good left hook. And you keep seeing Alan keep throwing that great left hook, who works with him as well every day with it.
And keep in mind, Alan Gauthier's last fight was in February of 2015 when he got stopped in the very first round by 3-11 Jamel Tyson. And I asked him at the weigh-in yesterday, what happened in that fight? And he said, you know what? I was cutting myself too thin. I was going to culinary school. I was working. I was doing this. I was doing that. I was studying, and I was training. I absolutely wasn't thinking or working like a fighter.
Absolutely. If you want to be a full-time professional boxer and get in that ring, you want to do it as a full-time job. You can't have these second jobs. It's a different kind of fighter. The guy, Carlos Aguilera, he's a guy who does it part-time. You can see what kind of record and see what kind of fights he gets in. If you want to be a known guy fighting out of your hometown, you have to do that full-time like he's doing now.
And look at this. Alan Gauthier is fighting as a southpaw. Have you ever seen him do that before?
I've seen that with him before. Actually, one time I needed a southpaw to spar, and there was no one around. We made him box lefty the entire time. It wasn't a good day for him, but he did it. He had to do it, and he helped me out very well.
Well, many times when a fighter does that, they lose something defensively. Does he lose something when he does it?
It all depends on what Caparis is going to do. Is Caparis going to continue moving to his left and trying to go to his right? Is Caparis going to take the great time for him to take that advantage of when he does it? Because if someone's not used to always doing it, that's the time for him to take the shot. Like a shot like that. This is what Caparis does the best. He knows how to move and counter, come in.
This has been a good round for Caparis, definitely. He's like, you know, he's using his feet, he's moving around, he's trying not to stand in there and engage.
Absolutely. You can see he's moving, he feels much more comfortable. He's pop shotting again.
He's starting to find his rhythm. I think that this round is his round.
We are coming to the end of round number 3. We'll be back with more Joe DeGuardia StarBoxing Rockin' Fights 23. back. Look at this crowd. It's not only a sellout, it is standing room only at one of the best fight arenas in the country, the Paramount in Huntington. This is a scheduled 10-rounder for the New York State Junior Welterweight Championship. Anthony Carperis in the gold stripes with the dark trunks, and Alan Gauthier, white trunks and the dark trim with the red lettering.
This venue is the best venue on Long Island. I told Joe LaGuardia, I'm staying here until HBO calls and brings me out of here. I don't want to go nowhere. I want to stay at the Paramount. This is my home. This is where everybody comes. This is the venue.
And by the way, you have fought in here more than any other fighter. I believe it's 14 times you've been in that ring.
14 times I've been here, and I love the place. When the Hebrew Hammer's fighting, all the hammerheads come out, and they're cheering as loud as they can. If everybody in town, all the towns come together, they're talking about it. They know if you're not going to the fight, you're missing out, especially when we sell it out 3-4 weeks ahead of time.
I love it. The hammerheads.
The hammerheads.
The Hebrew Hammer Selden with me at ringside, along with Kara Castronova, former Golden Gloves champion, watching one heck of a fight here at the Paramount for the New York State Junior Welterweight Championship. And what a fight it is. This one indeed is a title fight all the way. Anthony Carperis, Alan Gauthier, and Carperis looking like he's coming on a little bit, starting to relax a little bit more and use those legs. He's very, very speedy and shifty.
Absolutely. Alan, one of his big problems was he doesn't know how to cut the ring off. And Carperis is actually cutting the ring off. He's moving left, he's moving right. And you can see Kara's been focused in on this the entire fight, this whole time. She's seen every single little move. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I just think it's an interesting fight. You know, I know you're friends with Alan Gauthier. I think he's doing a great job, but I just think Anthony Carperis is probably going to start pulling off, more rounds from here going forward. It seems he's getting a little bit of his number, Alan Gauthier is very brave. He's fighting a very brave fight. He's coming forward. He's all offense, but that could be the problem. He's not really moving his head much, and he's eating a lot of punches, which I don't like to see because I love the kid.
Absolutely, and Carperis is doing what he's doing really good. And those pop shots and moving on the angles, throwing punches and combinations.
But it's all what the judges see. The judges they like the pressure fighter sometimes. Some judges like the boxer, so you don't know until the judges announce their decision.
Absolutely, but right now, like you said, Carperis is more relaxed. He's taking it out of Alan right now. Alan needs to land that big shot though to get more respect out of Carperis. Carperis got his hands down, and he's moving around. He's almost showboating out there. You can see he's taking control of the center of the ring, what Alan does not want.
Right.
Anthony back in this fight. If he was falling behind in the first 2, maybe even 3 rounds, here in round number 4, he definitely is getting it back as round number 4 comes to an end. What a title fight we got here.
It's a hard style to fight, as you know, Cletus, being the pressure fighter, being the guy coming forward. It's like you take risks. It's hard. Only certain people can fight that way.
Okay. In my book, round number 4 belonged to the man in black trunks, Anthony Carperis.
Absolutely. You can see he keeps digging that uppercut in there every time. Every time they get on the inside, he's throwing combinations. Alan Gauthier cannot figure out if he's going to stay in or he's going to stay out. And he keeps continuing, coming in, throwing his combinations. And guess what afterwards? Carperis is going to move right out of the way. You can see he's literally coming out after throwing his combinations. But he has Alan figured out right now.
What do you do if you're in the corner of your buddy Alan Gauthier? What do you tell him?
I would tell him to continue pushing forwards. You ate his best punches so far and make him work the entire time. There's no dignity or self-righteousness of losing a fight. As long as you put himself in a position that he fought the fight the entire time, there's nothing wrong with that. Same thing with Anthony Carperis and same thing with all the fighters in this sport.
This is round number 5. We are
Good
scheduled
shot
for
by
10.
right there. Strong right hand.
Now, you had said just a moment ago that you would tell Alan to keep putting that pressure on. And that's even with Anthony doing what he's doing now, because the first few rounds, he wasn't figuring out that Gauthier was going to be putting the constant pressure on.
Absolutely.
You'd still tell him not to change it?
I would tell him to keep doing what he's doing, because every time he's getting a little tired, he backs off. Anthony Carperis takes advantage of it. Again, now they have the center of the ring. Alan needs to keep the center of the ring into his favor. Just like he's doing now. He's doing a fantastic job.
If I was in Anthony's corner, I would tell him to frustrate Alan, because Alan is he's an emotional fighter. You know what I mean? He gets frustrated, and that's when he gets hit the most, I think.
Absolutely. Before, Caparis was moving a lot more. He was moving left, right. He was staying out of the mix. Allen didn't know what to do.
Right, and you know how that feels when you got a guy moving this way, moving that way. It's frustrating. It gets you mad. You want to bum rush them, and that's not a good idea for certain types of fighters.
Absolutely, it's a chess match out there, and you don't want to lose that in you. But right now, Allen's taking control of this round, and just like the fight we thought, we're going to one round for this guy, one round for that guy. Some rounds are going to be tied, and it looks really good for both of them.
Both of them still look really strong. They both still have a lot of wind in them. They both still believe they could both win the fight. So it's going to be a good fight for, every round I think has been great.
With every tick of the clock, this is becoming more and more of not just a Long Island classic, but this is one that I'm hoping is going to be watched for a long time. What a good fight this one is.
This round is better for both fighters. They're both inside. They're both fighting. They want to show who's the king of the island. Who's going to be it? Caparis, guys, there was a little hook right there. Nothing big. He didn't do it on purpose. He was just being held up.
Referee Sparkle Lee, a retired New York City police officer, highly decorated.
Whatever feelings these guys had afterwards, they're going to 100% enjoy each other. They know they both are putting it on the line right now, and you can only get that respect by being in that ring like that.
And that's where you meet your best friends, right, Cletus? The guys that fight the hardest, that you're sparring with, that you're fighting with, like you become friends after that in a very strange way.
Absolutely. I don't know. I get more friends that I actually fought. I go fight them. I'm friends with them on Facebook. They like my photos. I like their photos. We become really good.
Right. It's like a weird bond.
Yeah, it's like a little cult bond that you'll never break.
Caparis with some inside work that shoves Gauthier away, and that could just be what he needed to win this very close round.
They need to throw combinations, the two of them. The two of them need to keep continuing the combinations. Allen needs to keep working, and Caparis could take a really good shot. You've seen him a few times getting hit with that right hand, and he's taking it, and he's giving it, and he's taking it. Look at this. This is fantastic.
What a fight! Another outstanding round. That was round number 5. 5 more are scheduled.
This is awesome. This is really an awesome feeling. These guys got 5 more rounds and they're already leaving it out.
Let's take a look at the very first punch of the last round.
You see Allen Gauthier coming double jam, right hand, which kept Caparis completely off guard. You see his eyes actually opened up, but because he has that fighting instinct, he actually tried to come back with his own overhand right, which is incredible, which is awesome. Again, these guys are continue working the entire time. There's no delay in action. This is really good for boxing and good for Long Island.
Well, I compared this earlier to the Bobby Cassidy light heavyweight bout against John Capobianco back in 1977, which Bobby Cassidy, the top light heavyweight contender, won by unanimous decision. That one didn't have anywhere near the action that this one does. This is going to be a Long Island classic.
Absolutely. And we don't know when we might get another one. It might take another 30-something years to get there.
I'm thinking there's going to be a rematch either which way it goes.
Rematch, they could put it anywhere. But this is definitely a main event fight. This could be a main event attraction. Allen's closing the distance now.
This is what I called, when it was first signed by Joe DeGuardi and matchmaker Ron Katz, one of the most compelling fights that I can remember, and it is turning into that and more. And it's give and take, ebb and flow. One time Gauthier takes over, then Caparis comes back.
You know what different styles they have. It's just interesting to watch like how styles make fights. They're both so different, but you know they're both mixing up in there. It's pretty, you know what I'm saying, Cletus?
Absolutely, but remember, Allen's actually usually a boxer, so he still stick to his game plan. He got in such good shape that he's continuing the fight on the inside, being the puncher first, and then the boxer second, which is totally, it's mind-blowing how he's able to do that.
Right.
Especially when the times get tough. When the times get tough, you want to take it back and go back what you normally do. He's so focused and so dedicated that he wants to do this. Caparis is doing his same thing. He's doing pop shot and moving around, scoring points and winning rounds as well.
Caparis holding Gauthier down, and referee Sparkle Lee says, watch that.
You can see Allen has a little cut under his right eye. It's a little bruise. It hasn't opened up yet, but he's I seen in the corner they started working on it. A little mouse.
Nice right uppercut by Anthony Carperas. Follows with a hook and another right uppercut.
Gote's trying to go with a cross-arm defense like myself, but he needs to get it over a little bit more over to his left shoulder, so he doesn't get. So Carperas can't slip him in there.
Both guys taking tremendous shots, but right now Gote eating a lot of uppercuts.
I think that's what Gote has to work on most is his defense, because he definitely knows how to punch. That's for sure. You know, it's like if he gets hit a little less, I think he's going to be in a much better position.
Yeah.
Carperas rips another right uppercut.
Digging those uppercuts. Digging them.
Comes Gote. And another right uppercut by Carperas. Missing with the left hook.
Allen's cross-arm, he's tired. He really feels those uppercuts. You can see his arms are going over.
And again, Carperas knows the uppercut is working. Now the overhand right, and it just falls short.
Carperas definitely is winning this round now. He took control of it. Carperas got the momentum. The speed he has still is so nice. Look at the intensity and the veins that are coming out of Carperas' arms right now.
Good job by Sprocket Lee to get right in there at the bell. Because they were still unloaded.
Once again, I want to thank all of our great sponsors for tonight.
Watch some of this action from round number 6. What a round!
Anthony Carperas continuing with the uppercuts. This is the whole fight. This changed the whole fight. Look at him, he's just digging uppercuts. He's not even throwing any other punches. He just wants to hit you with uppercuts. Because Alan Gote cannot defend it right now.
And he's right there for it.
He sees it, his head's right there. He's not picking his sides. As of right now, you can see that the two trainers, Joe Gadigian and my trainer, Pete Brodsky, are working the cut of Alan Gote's left eye. I saw it bleeding a little bit, but it wasn't too much, but I see the doctor might come in and check it out real quick.
I mean, if I was in Alan's corner at this point, I would try to switch up the game plan a little. I wouldn't want him going in there and eating those uppercuts, you know, with that defense where he has his hands up and he's just coming forward. Maybe this round he could lay back a little and throw some shots from the outside. Yeah,
it's totally up to him and what he has to do. If I was in the same position, I might have to go back to the drawing board. But look at Alan Gote, he's coming back out there, coming forwards. Maybe if he could pick his head to go to the left or the right instead of being dead center with Carperas, he wouldn't have that problem.
It is round number 7. This one's scheduled for 10. As I look at my scorecard, I've got it 57 Gote, 57 Carperas. How even, how outstanding a fight is this one?
This is fantastic. I'm so excited to be here. This is the fight that we all wanted to see. Even if this was on HBO Boxing, this is the fight you would want to see.
Absolutely, no question about it.
Allen's still sticking to the game plan, coming forwards. Now he's throwing a little bit more punches. Carperas, when he gets a little tired, he does a lot more pop shotting, which has been helping him. But at the same time, the other guy's working a little bit more.
How hard is it, Cletus, to marry those two styles, to like be a puncher and a boxer, and then to all of a sudden be aggressive, to sort of be something in between where you're coming forward but you're also defending yourself?
It's almost impossible to do because it's such a hard style. Who wants to come forwards and throw punches when you're so used to doing something else? You have to give it to Alan Gote for attempting and continuing to do it, even though he's getting hit with shots. He could easily go out and try to box him, but he's not like that. He wants to come in there, he wants to show everybody what he has, especially Anthony Carperas and this hometown crowd. You kind of see the same thing. Allen comes out good, keeps it even, takes a little bit of streak, and at the little half of every round, Anthony starts taking it over again.
There was a guy that you fought, Cletus, by the name of Bjorn Jargle. Anthony Carperas fought him back in April. It was about a year ago. And Anthony took a majority decision over 8 rounds. I know you were here for that fight. Jargle was one tough individual.
Oh, he was one of the tough fighters, the Mongolian mongoose.
Yes.
He was an Olympian. This guy can fight. This guy can take a tremendous amount of abuse. I actually fought him twice. Anthony Carperas fought him once. Chris Algieri even fought him once. This guy is a StarBoxing fighter. If you want to make it to the next step, you have to take that fight. And Anthony Carperas did, and he actually won that bout.
This is still anybody's fight. But right now, Anthony Carperis just looks to be a little bit sharper, a little bit fresher. Look how he gets away from those shots.
It's coming with the relaxation. Anthony Carperis is very relaxed right now, and that's why I think he has, he has a little bit more wind in him just because he's so relaxed. He's sharper.
Round 7 comes to an end. You're watching Joe DeGuardia's StarBoxing Rockin' Fights 23. Don't go away.
Oh, yes.
It is round number 8 here at the Paramount in Huntington, New York. You're watching a 10-rounder for the New York State Junior Welterweight Championship between Anthony Carperis in the black, Alan Gauthier in the white. Once friends, sparring partners, now they respect each other. Maybe not the best of friends. I'm sure no matter who wins this fight and how, they're going to have one big hug for each other. What a fight you have watched, and there's still more to go. Round 8.
That was the first time we actually seen Sparkle Lee in there having to break up the inside. Before that, they're fighting on the inside the whole time. It's very nice. Alan Gauthier going in there throwing a little forearm, the old hammer forearm that I've done to him many times. Compares, beautiful body shot combination. You can tell when Anthony's he's so relaxed right now.
Yes. Now he's starting a pot shot.
Yep.
I think Alan's standing in front of Carperis a little too much. When he's in front of him, Carperis is looking at him, measuring him, and then he gets off. Carperis gets off, not Gauthier.
Every time, too, every time. He's attacking, Anthony's attacking Alan when he's not expecting it, and Alan's attacking Anthony when he does expect it, and that's been paying off for him.
Look at those uppercuts, then a hook. Carperis moving his hands in combination, upstairs, downstairs.
Anthony Carperis is in fantastic shape. You can just see his body, all his veins are coming out. Each punch is coming out so beautifully. He's such in good shape. He's moving left and right. He knows what he's doing tonight.
This is a great round for Anthony Carperis. I've seen him look good, but this is one of his best rounds I've seen him. He's moving beautifully. He's using those angles. He's not getting hit. I mean, he looks great.
Yeah, this is great for two fighters that just came off losses, coming back out there and putting it all on the line. And he actually needs a guy like Alan Gauthier to push him to make him become the best that he can be. And this is what's happening right now.
Cletus, what style would you rather fight? Like, what's the style that you think that you would do better against these two guys?
Put him on the line, Kara.
Well, you can't back me up, so then Alan would have a problem trying to back me up. So I would say Carperis would have a problem too, but you have to deal with the entire time in your face. Oh man, you see those uppercuts? 6, 7, 8 uppercuts. Oh, he turned him. What a beautiful move.
That's that strength, Cletus, you were talking about. That if one guy has a little bit more body strength than the other, it's Carperis over Gauthier. And I think you see it when they're working in close.
Absolutely. Oh, another good shot. Look at him. Carperis has this fight right now.
Gauthier is so frustrated, and he's a little stunned.
You'd think getting hit with so many uppercuts, you'd start throwing his own. But he's a warrior, and he's in there. Look, they both choke their hands after each round, knowing that they put it all on the line. This is awesome.
Carperis knows he knows he's doing good. He's completely relaxed.
What a fight you are watching! Round after round, they are at each other.
Look at the combinations, over the top, staying on balance with the uppercuts, and here it is. Look, Anthony Carperis against the ropes. What is he doing? He's just going to keep punching. He's going to keep punching. If you're going to keep your head there, I'm going to look somewhere. I'm just going to keep hitting you. He's not even looking. He knows he's going to hit him. Takes a quick angle, blasts him with another hard shot. Anthony Caparis definitely is taking this control of this entire fight. And he knows it. He knows it. He has the confidence.
What do you think they're saying in his corner, Cletus, since you know these guys?
They're telling Caparis to keep doing what he's doing. Allen, they're praying for him to go out there and just leave it all out there like he's been doing. It's too late for him to switch anything up. Leave it out there. There's 2 rounds. This is the furthest that Alan Gauthier has ever boxed, and Anthony Caparis is coming out strong right now.
Matchmaker Ron Katz has been dying to put this fight on for the longest time, and he came over to me a little while ago, and he said, well, we finally made it. And I said, I think you made yourself a good one. I haven't even spoken to him since this fight started. Are you kidding? This is already on the list of 2016's Fight of the Year.
I would love to see a rematch of this. I would love Alan Gauthier to go back and, like, you know, just sharpen up a few things, change up a few things, and I think it would, you know, I think it'll be even closer if that's the case.
Okay, now Sparkle's going to have to call time, and she's going to tell Anthony, watch the rough stuff.
Alan's going to come back with something right now.
You think?
I pretty much know so. He's going to come back with a good flurry of punches and keep his arms strong.
I think Caparis is just having fun at this point.
Yeah,
everything he's throwing, those uppercuts are working overtime.
He's in shape right now, and like the style of fighter, the style that Gauthier is fighting is actually the style that Caparis wants to fight. That's a match made in heaven for him, a boxer mover fighting a guy that comes forward and who really isn't moving his head. I mean, what more could he ask for?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And Alan, this is the furthest this guy has ever gone. He's been fighting 6 rounds. I don't even think he even went 8 rounds when he was an 8-round fighter. So he's definitely digging it in right now. And Caparis is showing that he has the experience and he has the willpower to take control and be the seasoned fighter here.
Those uppercuts and body shots, combinations by Caparis, as he is not showing any signs of being tired.
This fight is all because Alan Gauthier is getting beat on the inside. Alan's the pressure fighter. He's the one that's getting on the inside. He's supposed to be the guy that takes the advantage and take the lead. But Anthony Caparis is actually doing it, which is totally messing Alan Gauthier up, and it's been the whole fight.
Well, for the first 3 rounds, Alan Gauthier was putting on the pressure and looking like he was winning this fight. It was close, but he was winning it. Then it seemed like Anthony Caparis solved the riddle, started to move, pot shot him, used the hand speed, foot speed and movement, his mobility, and it's been all Caparis after that.
Yeah, absolutely. He's hitting him with those uppercuts. Once he started landing those uppercuts over and over and over again, took a lot out of Allen. But again, when they get him on the inside, Caparis is the one that's doing the best work. He's the one that's landing the punches that count. Caparis still pushing him back, pushing hard. And he's the one, though, when they get on the inside, throws those combinations, looks fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, like, Allen's a bigger target on the inside, too. Where...
What a fight! We're watching 10th and final round coming up. Joe DeGuardia, StarBoxing, Junior Welterweight Championship, New York State title. What a fight!
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 10th and final round.
Well, there you have it. You saw those guys touch gloves and then they hugged each other. When have you ever seen that? 10th and final round.
And then right after that, they came out stronger than they ever came out before. This is so cool. This is so good.
Alan Gauthier definitely impressed me tonight. I mean, this is the first time he went 10 rounds, like you said, Cletus, and he is showing a lot of heart. He's showing a lot of BALL's ball. You know what I mean? He's a brave guy. He's a brave fighter. He's been strong throughout the 10 rounds, and he's out in the 10th round still trying to win, which just shows what heart he has.
Absolutely. But the thing, though, with this entire fight, though, is that Allen would always come out strong in the beginning, and then he would kind of go out, and then Caparis would take that whole half round over like he did before. But right now, we still got 2 minutes left, and Allen's still in there, keeping that conditioning and that relaxed composure, like you said.
Both guys in excellent shape, but it's Caparis with those little, almost stutter steps. He just moves enough.
Allen needs to keep coming forward. Even though he's throwing 3, he needs to keep going.
That time Allen got in with a hook, takes a right hand, and then tries to mix it up on the inside, but not having any success on the inside, because basically Cletus Cara, he's not an infighter, trying to do something tonight that he has never really done in his career.
And inside fighting is not an easy thing to do. I mean, Cletus might disagree and say that it is, but most people don't like getting hit in the stomach.
Oh, no, absolutely. I 100% agree with you. Nobody wants to sit there and trade and hit somebody and take the chances like some of the few fighters in this world do. But those are the fighters who people come out and want to see. They want to see the guy that's digging in, putting our show on, just like these guys are right now.
Gauthier trying to close the show with a big round, trying to win this round.
If Allen didn't come out the way he did, this fight would have been a total different, it could have been a very boring fight, actually. It could have been something that we really didn't want to see. But because he did that, he made the best out of both of it.
He's making Caparis look gooder. I mean, I think, you know, he plays a part in Caparis. You know, he's moving angles, he's pot shotting, and a lot of that has to do with the style that is coming at him in Alan Gauthier.
Yeah, you could see that it literally brings the best out of Anthony Caparis tonight.
Gauthier showing tremendous heart as he's trying to take this round.
20 seconds left.
This is the style I like to see Alan Caparis always fighting. Like, they need to match him more with these, like, you know, the come forward type guys, because he looks great right now. I'm very impressed.
Yeah. Both guys world class tonight, but I think Caparis maybe showed a little bit more as we go to the final bell. Junior Welterweight Championship, New York State. This one is over. It is a classic. No question about it. They embrace.
What was your score?
I am marking my scorecard, and I've got it 97-93 for Anthony Caparis. The corners embrace, the fighters embrace. They've just embraced for the 3rd time. The judges are marking their scorecard. We're gonna go to a break as those scorecards are being marked. We'll come back and find out who is the winner of the New York State Junior Welterweight Championship. Wow, what a fight this one's been. Joe DeGuardia's Rockin' Fights 23 has never been better than the one you just saw. We'll be back with more after this. Welcome back to the Paramount in Huntington, Long Island, New York, where you just watched one of the top fights so far. In 2016, the judges' scorecards have been marked. They've been turned in. David Diamante has the scorecard, and we're going to find out who is the champ.
Ladies and gentlemen, before I read this decision, let's give a nice round of applause out here for both of these fighters. They both came up right here at the Paramount, and they both came up right here under the StarBoxing umbrella. After 10 rounds of action here at the Paramount, we go to the judges' scorecards. Kevin Morgan, 100 to 90. Larry Hazard Jr., 99 to 91. John McKay scored this contest 98 to 92. All three for your winner by unanimous decision. And the new New York State Junior Welterweight Champion from Hicksville, New York, Anthony Showtime Carperis.
Well, 100 to 90, all the rounds to Anthony Carperis. 99, 91, 98, 92. I had it 97, 93. I was a little bit more generous to Alan Gauthier, but Anthony Carperis is the winner. A one-sided. If this was a shutout, this was the most competitive shutout I have ever seen.
Absolutely.
Castronova joins both of the fighters. Let's go up to Cara right now. Cara's trying to round them up. And I think she's got Anthony, and she is ready.
Congratulations, Anthony. That was honestly one of the most amazing performances I've seen you put on so far, and it was a real privilege to watch. I know that Alan came at you tonight with a little bit of a different style. Did it surprise you, and do you think that it actually made you look good with your style?
You know, Alan's as tough as they come, you know. He likes the pressure a lot. He comes forward, a lot of head work coming in. So it's hard, you know, you got to time him while he's moving back and forth. But, I mean, I haven't sparred him in 2 years, so anything that he was going to come in with, you know, I mean, there's some things that I realized that, you know, I remember, his double jab and whatnot, but, you know, it's still a different fight. We got little gloves on, no headgear, so, you know, definitely, I think he brought the best out in me tonight, and I hope I did with him, too.
How did it feel fighting another Paramount fighter here in the Paramount?
I was asked this before, you know, and I mean, to be honest with you, we're all friends, it's all business. I'll go grab a beer with them afterwards. You know, when I'm in here, I'm trying to win. I'm not trying to kill someone or hurt them too, you know. So, I mean, whether I'm fighting my friend or, you know, just an opponent, I'm just looking to put on a good show, looking to win. And like I said, afterwards, I'll go grab a beer with them.
Well, outstanding fight, amazing. Congratulations to both of you guys. Both put on a great performance. And look forward to seeing you fight again, maybe a rematch.
Well, thank you so much, Cara. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Cara. What a fight that one was.
Here you go. Anthony Carperis did what he did on the inside. That made the big difference. And he started pop-shotting him. That's because he knew what his game plan was and he stuck to it. And Alan Gauthier went out there and left it all out. As you can see, he kept throwing those uppercuts. He kept throwing those inside shots, which made the difference in the fight. Cindy, you agree with me, Randy?
Anthony Carperis now, the New York State Junior Welterweight Champion. What a fight it was.
And she's going to go ahead and pick a number. So this first one is for the autograph program from tonight's fight. So go ahead, Gia. All right, the number here is 946 957. Yep. 946 957.
Randy.
You can hold that. Okay. Now the second ticket is for a T-shirt from StarBoxing. And it is 946 913. 946 913. 946 913. That's the second one. And the grand prize here is 2 state seats to the June 17th fight, of which Cletus Selden will be on the card, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So this number is 946 976. 946 976. So those are the winners. So if you have them, come ringside and see Gia. I can't hear you. You can redeem it at the merchandise counter. Thank you, Gia from Puerto Ladies and gentlemen, may I please have your attention? Ladies and gentlemen, please, everybody at the Paramount, may I please have your attention? As we pause for a solemn moment. A couple of weeks ago, the boxing community lost one of its most respected and kind-hearted members when we lost Joe DeGuardia Sr. A lifelong New Yorker, Joe DeGuardia was a former fighter and a hero to the incredible amount of people that he trained and mentored both in and out of the ring. He was like a father figure to many. And in fact, he was the father of our host tonight and the promoter for tonight, Joe DeGuardia. Joe DeGuardia Sr. was loved by the boxing world and by his Bronx community, and we will all miss him greatly. As is our tradition, ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remain standing as we toll the memorial 10 count for Joe DeGuardia Sr. May he rest in peace. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for tonight's presentation of colors presented by the New York City Joint Service Color Guard. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to honor America and salute the men and women serving our country, here to sing our national anthem, ladies and gentlemen, from Brooklyn, New York, please welcome Christina Burgos.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light, for so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Christina Burgos.
Welcome back to Joe DeGuardia's StarBoxing Rockin' Fights 23. This is our main event. Light heavyweights, Joe Smith Jr. against Fabiano Pena. Both guys weighed 176. Joe Smith with a record of 20-1 with 16 by way of knockout. Fabiano Pena 16-4-1 with 12 knockouts.
Right, you go to the tail of the tape, you see Joe Smith has one loss. You have a few losses on Pena, but he's a really tough guy. The age is almost the same, the height is almost the same, and the weight is the same. You're going to see a really tough fight here, and Joe Smith is a really big fighter coming at you.
Let's go up to ring announcer David Diamante and get this one going.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, good evening and welcome to the Paramount here in Huntington, New York for the Rockin' Fights 23 featured bout of the evening. And it's all being brought to you courtesy of Joe DeGuardia's StarBoxing. Sponsored by Model Sporting Goods, Gotta Go to Moe's, Camelot Limousine, The Inn at Fox Hollow, WBAB 102.3, Power Play, and Picard Chiropractic, where they fight for your health right here in Huntington, Picard Chiropractic. This bout is sanctioned by the New York State Athletic Commission, Chairman Tom Hoover, Commissioner John Signorelli, Director of Boxing Eric Bentley. Introducing your three judges scoring this contest from ringside, John McKay, Kevin Morgan, and Carlos Ortiz Jr. At the sound of the bell, your third man in the ring, Eddie Claudio. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 10 rounds of boxing scheduled in the cruiserweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, standing with head trainer Fernando Mays. He wears the blue and silver. He weighed in at 175.4 pounds. His professional record, 14 victories against 4 defeats. He has 1 draw and 11 wins coming by way of knockout. Originally from the Paraná state of Brazil, and now living and fighting out of Tustela Gutierrez, Chiapas, Mexico. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Fabian, the Pitbull Pena. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, standing with head trainer Jerry Capabianco. He wears the black and green. He weighed in at a ready 175.2 pounds. His professional record, 20 victories, only 1 defeat. He has 16 wins coming by way of knockout. From Mastic, New York, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Irish Bomber, the Beast from the East, Joe Smith Jr. Smith Jr.
Joe. Okay, Joe, your chunks are good. Fabian, your cup is a little high. So, Joe, up to the line, okay? You know the rules. Obey my commands and protect yourself at all times. Let's have a good one.
Here we go. Round number 1, scheduled for 10 rounds. Light heavyweight division. Joe Smith Jr. in the green trunks, one of the hardest single shot hitters in the light heavyweight division, and the veteran Fabiano Pena.
Yeah, we're in for a treat tonight. We got one of the best light heavyweights in the world, coming from Mastic, Shirley, one of the most brutalist blue-collar towns there is on Long Island, the same town that I'm from, and he's going to come in here, he's going to fight. Going back to Joe Smith, this is the best shape I've ever seen him, the most consistent he is, and the most focused he's ever been, coming off of the biggest fight of his life with Will Rosinski.
No question about it. And that fight against Will Rosinski that you mentioned, that took place last January. And he won a 10-round decision in that fight. Never looked better in his life.
He's going to look the best tonight. Even though he looked fantastic, he's going to even look better now. I've never seen him work so hard and be so dedicated like he is now.
The thing that fight with Rosinski showed me, because so many people think that Joe Smith is only a slugger. He showed everybody that he can box as well as slug that night.
Absolutely, he can do both, but he chooses to bang because that's what the people want, and that's what his heart tells him. Like I said, he comes from the same water I come from, and that's that breeding, want a hard-working kind of fight. That's the kind of fights we like to win, and that's the kinds of fights we kind of like to fight, just like the people where we come from.
And let me just tell you about that one loss on his record. That took place in August of 2010 against Eddie Caminero on a 4th-round TKO. He had his jaw broken in 2 places in that fight.
Joe Smith got him against the ropes, and he's pounding on him right now.
Pena knows how to survive. Let me tell you something. He went into the back door of 2 Mexican fighters in the last year and beat them both.
Wow. Wow, look at this. He's coming out so strong. I think they both kind of got tired after that exchange. But like you said earlier, Joe Smith's only loss came from a guy where he broke his jaw. He had to get 7.5 hours of reconstructive surgery on his jaw.
Amazing. First round, the jaw was shattered on both sides. How he even lasted through that round into the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th is just beyond me.
Insane, insane. And he wasn't the one that stopped it. It was the referee that stopped it. It wasn't even the fighter. That's the kind of heart and the kind of fight you're getting him, and that's the kind of fight you're getting right now.
Cletus, did I hear you say that it was the water in Shirley?
Oh, that water in Shirley, it makes these fighters incredible. Look at him. He is a beast.
The pit bull is not going to stand there and get beaten up by Joe Smith. He's going to come back with shots of his own, but Joe Smith just unloading on him as Pena keeps his hands up here in the 1st round.
He's going to get saved by the bell.
End of round number 1 in a typical Joe Smith 1st round war.
Amazing. It's crazy. This is only the 1st round. Only the 1st round.
He's just so strong, you know. Is it the way he trains? Like, what makes him so?
It's the water.
It's the water. Okay, I forgot.
Now, say what you want about Joe Smith. At times he can be crude, but take a look at this action from round number 1.
He's putting it on him. He gets him against the ropes, and he's continuing to bang him away. Pena has good defense, though. He's keeping it there, and he's making Joe Smith work, and he's coming back firing it with him, which is beautiful.
Some more action as Joe Smith in green tries to pin the pit bull against the ropes. The pit bull playing defense there. Lucky for him, picking most of those shots off. Some of them getting through. Let's see what happens here in round number 2. The pit bull looks very fresh, not hurt at all.
Not at all, like you said, and he has fighting him. You can see the way he's throwing those punches. He wants to take his head off as well.
I don't think Smith got wobbled on that shot. It was like he was a little bit off balance.
Yeah, that's it. All is off balance. Look at how hard Joe Smith could throw that left hook from that angle. When I was an amateur, he was an amateur too. And he hit the coach in the body with a shield on, and he broke the guy's ribs, and he had a 6-inch pad on him. He broke the coach's rib.
Yeah, he can punch. And of course, the light heavyweight division, which has guys like Kovalev and Adonis Stevenson who can punch. I don't know if they hit any harder. They might be better than Joe Smith, but I don't know if they punch any harder.
Well, how do you
Smith.
see him faring in the light heavyweight division, Randy?
I think he needs more fights just to get some seasoning in there. But he can, he's got the stamina, he's got the boxing ability, but man, this guy loves to slug.
Absolutely, and that's what the benefit of him going in there. He might not be ready for Kovalev, but you can put him in a Kovalev fight because it's going to be that exciting.
Yeah.
Who's not going to want to see those two monsters hit each other? And like you said, Joe Smith, probably one of the strongest light heavyweights in the world, and he has the cojones to back it up. As you can see him boxing now, like you said earlier, he can do a little bit of both.
Yep.
He's boxing, he's punching, he's in shape, he has it tonight.
And he's got an incredible power jab. Even when he's backing up, that jab is enough to stop a man's retreat, pressure of him.
Absolutely. What I would like to see him do is go to a little body a little bit more, but and try to find the openings. I know he likes to create the openings, but if he could find it a little bit, it would definitely make it a little bit easier for him, but he's coming in just like he is a beast.
Member in the Pitbulls, Fabiano the Pitbull Pena, 16-4 record. In his 16 wins, 12 of those wins have come by TKO or flat-out KO.
Yeah, and his opponents that he lost to had incredible records. He's always been just the opponent. And he comes out here and he can prove that he's been going to everyone's backyard and he's been fighting his tail off every time. One guy that
Pena lost to last March, it was a year ago. He fought the highly touted Russian Vyacheslav Shabronsky, who's about 15-0, who stopped him in round 5.
Look at him, he's throwing those combinations. Pena not throwing back, the fight is stopped.
That's better.
The referee stopped it! You cannot stand there and just take shot after shot. And he is wobbled a little bit. It was a very good stoppage on the part of Eddie Claudio. Very good stop.
Excellent. He gave him the time, and the fighter would not throw back. He might have threw 30, 40 punches right there. All hard shots, and Pena just sat there on the ropes, waiting.
Let's take a look at the shots that ended this, Cletus.
Here he comes. What started all off was that uppercut. When he started digging that uppercut, that's when Pena couldn't use that peekaboo style that we saw all night that all the other fighters were doing. And again, the uppercut again, because he was throwing that peekaboo style. I bet you his trainers told him to do that, and it worked out beautifully. And he literally sat here and he banged on him until the referee stopped. That's the kind of heart, that's the kind of discipline he's got into.
Watch the ref jump in. I think he has some nerve because, like, you know, who wants to get hit by Joe Smith? Like, you know, he just jumps in. I don't know.
Yeah, give some credit to Joe Claudia for jumping in there.
There were 29 unanswered punches. Eddie Claudio had no choice but to stop that fight. Let's get up to ring announcer David Diamante and make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Eddie Claudio calls a halt to this contest. The official time of the stoppage, 2 minutes and 38 seconds of round number 2. Your winner by TKO from Mastic, New York, the Irish Bomber, the Beast from the East, Joe Smith Jr.
Joe Smith Jr. with another power-packed performance. This guy just throws bombs, Cletus, every punch he throws.
Every punch, like you said, every punch is on the mark. And what I liked the most about it was the variety. He went to the body, and then he started, and the longer shots weren't working, so he started digging underneath and started landing those uppercuts. And that's the way it started working for him.
And Kara Castanova with Joe DeGuardia and Joe Smith. So the Joes are with our Kara, and she's ready to go right now. Kara Castanova, as soon as Joe finishes flexing.
Congratulations, Joe, on a tremendous knockout. Did you think that you were going to knock him out that fast?
Honestly, no, I thought it was going to go a few more rounds than that, but we did our homework. I knew a good jab and a lot of combinations. I would get him out of there early tonight. And, you know, I worked hard, real hard this training camp. I stayed busy, so this is how I expected it to go.
You could see the hard work in there, Joe. What's next for you?
I don't know yet. My team is going to get together with Joe DeGuardia after the fight. I mean, after tonight, and figure it out.
Well, congratulations again. Look forward to seeing more knockouts like that. And
I want to give a shout out to John's Pizza, Cap's Pizza, and to all my fans for coming out and supporting me. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Kara. Well, what a show this has been. Joe Smith with a big second-round knockout, and also Anthony Carperis with a big win tonight for the junior welterweight title. We want to thank you for watching Joe DeGuardia StarBoxing for Cara Castronova and Cletus Selden. I'm Randy G, the commish. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Have yourself a great night.
Is this your new career after boxing?